find myself. Can't find myself. Can't find myself. I can't find myself. Can't find myself. Can't find myself.
Building a fortress, and we thought it was stronger, keeping your distance. I thought we were better. We can try to just hide from the pain by building our castle. We can build them again and again, and we can feel nothing. And I know that you're feeling alone, and we can do better. So help me to break through the stone. Help me to break through.
And welcome everybody to the 2018 LPL Spring Split Week 3, Day 2. I'm Alexander Opel-Archambault. Joining me for the cast tonight is Stuart Sin McLeod, as always. Sin, I know you're having a nice, lovely night. We got a nice break during that weekend, but we're back for another week of action here in the LPL.
Yeah, and we're going to be seeing, in the first series, LGD versus Top Sports. Top Sports looking to pick up their first win in the season so far, currently sitting at that 0-5, the lowest in the LPL, and having played tied most games, it's understandable. You can imagine teams like Vici will also hit that mark, but right now, they're right at the bottom.
And then after that, we're going to have kind of our show match of the evening, as everybody wants to see how this one's going to pan out between Billy Gaming and Snake Esports. Winner will claim top spot in the East. No, not the East, the West region of the LPL, and that's kind of an important series that we're looking forward to after this one.
Definitely so, but to focus in on this series, we were talking about it a little bit before we went live, but Top Sports, going all the way back to the time where they were Dan Gaming, haven't won a best-of-3 series since last June.
Woo! That's
really struggling, yeah.
That's a bit ugly. You don't want to be one of those teams that goes on one of these massive loss streaks, but these guys, I think they're in the realm of 15 straight best-of-3s that they have not found a victory, at least during the LPL. They did find one series win during the Demacia Championship, but that was against Joy Dream Gaming, JD Gaming's, farm sister team. So you don't really count that as that's a series that you should be winning if you're in the LPL.
It's a sympathy victory in the end, but
it makes you feel good.
Champion select, yeah.
It makes you feel good,
Champion select here, yeah. We can see that there's already some bans on the board, and you're taking away the Rise from top straight away, and a couple of mid lane bans, and straight away as well the Gangplank ban away from Moyu. We haven't talked about this much, but Moyu has subbed in for Lies in the latter half of this split thus far. And he has been performing a little bit better than Lies, but at the same time, more willing to play carries doesn't necessarily mean you get better results, and he has still had those struggles.
If you look over at top, they are respecting that Riven pick up in the top lane for Jinu. He was able to go off in the last series that we saw in LGD's victory on the weekend, where they were able to pick up their second win at home. And that's kind of the question here. Is LGD going to be able to continue on their win streak here in their home arena? Going to put some priority here into the jungle, picking up that Jarvan.
You got to think that with that Riven ban, I actually don't agree with it. They've banned the Riven after seeing the Gangplank banned on the other side. The Riven is a specific counterpick to the Gangplanks. It's something I don't quite agree with. But seeing the Tom Kench locked in is something I can definitely get on the back of here. After seeing the Kog'Maw first pick, it's such a high priority on that champion, taking away his safety has to be the first thing that comes into your mind. So I'm expecting something along the lines of a Shen support to come through in this game, or something that can give him enough shields to keep him alive.
Well, they did lock in the Kha'Zix. We have seen the Janna come up time and time again during this meta, but instead we're gonna lock in that Braum. It also kind of dissuades the Ornn pick up into the top lane, possibly coming out from LGD, so a smart choice here by top.
Zoe's still open right now, but it's a pick that could be taken away during the second phase. Without Zia or Rise available, it means that she really rises in priority and can punish a lot of mid laners she would be up against. So I think it definitely has to be thought about here.
Well, LGD, they decide they want to get that Ezreal for Imp, try and get him a priority pick. And because that Azir and the Rise was bound out so early by LGD, I think they're actually pretty confident in this rotation, because top, they really don't have a priority pick for that mid lane anymore. You either want to try and get that Rise or try and get that Azir. Sometimes you get the Malzahar, but LGD, they showed what they wanted to pick, and that was the support and jungle, and top has to respond to that, or else they're going to get banned out, and can now see the mid lane bans coming out from LGD, going to get rid of the Malzahar like we just mentioned.
It's definitely there's still a few strong mid lane picks left here, but really most of the meta picks we see already gone. You got to think like the Vladimir's still available, can be a flex between mid and top lane. But really, it's going to have to show what is in the pool of both Namzu and Gong here, because really all the champions they've played this season are already taken off the board.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, that Vladimir getting banned out here, so we won't be seeing in the mid or top lane, and starting to get down here into the picks. We don't expect these mid laners to have such a deep champion pool as, say, the likes of like Rookie, where you can't really ban out a person like Rookie. He's played so many unique champions for Invictus. You like to try and get some more crucial pickups. You know, there is still that Cassiopeia pick that's still up in the air. Could be a possibility, but usually you see it picked into the Rise or the Azir because it does so well. Maybe looking for something a little bit more team fighty like the Orianna. Is LGD gonna finish off their ban rotation with the Gnar?
Okay, so this leaves the Ornn still available, as you were alluding to here, and that means that Top has to be thinking about picking up the Ornn here, because if you see Janu pick it up for himself, they've got the Braum already on the other side. So they're trying to dissuade that Ornn pick from coming through, and should they be able to get it themselves, it's even more of a punish. So I think you have to take it if you're LGD, even though the engage is dissuaded quite heavily, just to deny it from Top Sports.
Look at this, they are hovering at top. They decided to ban out the Zoe in their last ban phase. Looks like LGD, they say, hey, you know what? The Ornn is still an option top. They might take it, but we want to try and secure a good pick for our mid laner. Going to go with that Talia.
It's understandable with so many mid laners taken away, you take one of the next priority mid laners, but I still think losing that team fight pressure of the Ornn and giving it directly over to the other side is something you really don't want to be doing as LGD. It could cause issues, but they've still got a decent composition for team fighting, for that long range damage with the Talia and the Ezreal, along with the Jarvan and the Tahm Kench as an effective frontline.
We're going to lock in that Ornn and try and go
Karma
for
mid.
it, and that's going to be a Karma mid. So the shield's coming out here, and it's going to be putting it all onto this Kog'Maw, and Karen in the beginning of the game on the Kha'Zix to try and make an impact early, or else they top right now. They're looking to just farm this one out into the late game and let QQ on the Kog'Maw just to take over that portion of the game. Now for LGD, what do they want to try and lock in here? It's going to be the Fiora up in top lane. Going to try and bring the pain to the Ornn.
So with the Camille gone, you go for the next best thing, the next best duelist available, which is this Fiora, and I know a few people will be happy seeing this one, because Fiora right now is back in the top lane. She's still really strong. Does struggle when the opponent can pick up like the Bramble Vest early on, but other than that, we'll be able to bully out the Ornn. We'll be able to use her riposte to block the knockback auto attack following the Brittles. So being in that situation can be very rough as Ornn, where you can get completely baited in, and suddenly you're getting hit for 3 vitals in a row in a trade, and you've missed everything. And with all your damage being so much based around like getting the last hit of the Bellows Breath, so she can dash out of that, she can riposte that. Getting the Q slow, she can dash out of that in reaction to the animation. It's just, being a mobile top laner is so effective into Ornn.
Well, on top of that, that Fiora is going to be, again, the Ornn can actually wave clear quite effectively once he has a couple points into that breath and be able to push back the wave.
But it's not about him pushing, it's about him getting dove at level 6.
Exactly. So that's the thing. You're going to have this Jarvan waiting in the wings, and we'll have to see whether or not that Kha'Zix makes an appearance. As you can see, the LGD crowd, it's still a little early now. I think it's around 4 o'clock local time there in China, so people just coming on in after work, maybe going to try and catch as much of the series as they can. It's a pretty low population, but this isn't one of your top matchups, as even with top sports as we're talking about them. LGD, they are expected here after the performance in week 2 to try and make a quick series out of this one, maybe a 2-0. If top, though, I feel like they do have a comp here that could actually take this game if they play it correctly.
I think top definitely have a lot of potential in their composition. They have the shields to try and keep the Kog'Maw alive. They've got Braum being able to stand in front of him and block a lot of the damage as well. But it's a case of if they can get to that point in the game where they want to be fighting without falling behind and losing massive advantages across the map before then.
Well, as you guys can see, we're going to load up for Game 1 between Top Sports and LGD. Like we mentioned, LGD looking to continue their at-home win streak to 3 series. Top looking for their first win here in Season 8 of the LPL Spring Split. And also their first best of 3 in the LPL since of last year. So it's, you know, this... When you looked at LGD coming in on their first week, you actually could have think this to be a close matchup. But LGD, they've kind of shored up a little bit of their flaws here and kind of worked very well in the last, especially week 2. Great improvements, great strides in the team to try and fix up some of the mistakes we saw in that week 1. And they're pretty confident, I think, going into this one.
Yeah, they took down a struggling RNG, then went on to take out Rogue Warriors as well. And it was Nanzu and Yuki, they struggled in the mid lane in terms of laning, but the proactive plays across the map, teaming up with Amy as well, just meant that they outpaced Rogue Warriors across the map and were able to make enough plays to give themselves advantages come the late game, and their scaling compositions worked out for them. So going for another fairly scaling composition here as well, with the Fiora and the Ezreal, could definitely work out for them here. And it's going to be around, again, the mid lane making plays, because we know that Nanzu isn't really the strongest laner.
Well, you can see the fan vote from the website sitting at 58% to 42%. So Top does have some of the fans on their side, but LGD, the favorites it seems, as we load on in with the lanes now starting to crash on over. Nothing too out of the ordinary. We always got to keep a tally of how many spell books we see on the map, I guess, has become the new thing to do across the broadcast. And you see Top, the run in.
Spellbook Kog'Maw.
Yeah, Spellbook Kog'Maw. So looking to really just try and survive this lane and not lose out too much, because, you know, if you do get pushed out, you're just going to switch onto a teleport and just look to not lose any CS.
So the interesting thing here, and I think this is the more why he chose the spellbook here, is that you are the primary focus of the enemy team's damage. You are the primary focus of who's going to be using the Cataclysm on you, who's going to be engaging on you. So if you have the ability to flash away 1 minute sooner, that's so crucial in fights and later game stages where you need that flash up as much as possible.
And if you actually look here, the real only true, like, hard CC is going to be coming from the mid lane on the seismic shove, and that's a bit telegraphed, that ability. Maybe the flag drag, but the one that you're going to be looking at is PYL on the Tom Kench, but he has to get in melee range, so, you know, once you switch...
It's more the Cataclysm that I'm looking for, though. It's just trying to Cataclysm directly on top of...
we have those seen...
QQ here.
We have those seen Kog'Maws be trapped in that Cataclysm. It kind of turns into that situation where you're trapped with me in here, and we've seen... Once they hit a couple items, they can actually survive the initial burst from the Jarvan. Already, though, this is kind of what we wanted to see, because this has kind of been the story of the meta. It's the mid and jungle matchup, this 2v2 in the mid lane and jungle, where these junglers and the mid laners look to try and work together, try and make things happen across the map. And you already saw from the Talia getting that deep vision on early just to try and track Karen it through his jungle.
But you know what I love about China casting to the Chinese League, Opal?
What? What you
It's
love?
the minion dematerializers.
Hey.
Look at that. Two being used in the mid lane on either side. Gong being really liberal in the usage of his. He really wants to be pushing that lane as much as possible. Nanzu seemingly saving it for those cannon minions. Just trying to get the wave push on those specific waves rather than increasing his wave pressure by getting the damage to minions done. And you can see in the bot lane as well, Cat's going to be using that to kill off minions. Again, likely the cannon minion. And with the relic shield, he still shares the gold.
Yeah, you know, for the matchups we see in the Braum, especially into a Kench, it's actually kind of risky when you go down there just to look to maybe try and secure that cannon minion, the minion dematerializer. You just kind of walk up in range and put it on down, and there is the double teleport into mid lane. Nobody wanted to give anybody any kind of advantage here, as they both trying to secure as much CS as possible. Actually only separated by one, as that wave's going to start pushing a little bit over on toward Top's side of the map.
And so now it's going to stay fairly even, but we're seeing a bit of trading here in the jungle between Amy and Karin. You'd expect a Kha'Zix to have a bit of an advantage in these early phases in terms of his damage and really his clear speed, but Amy's been playing it out fairly well, using the vision pressure well as well, and going to be hanging around here.
Yeah, you'd like to have maybe a longsword or two, or even that warrior's enchantment complete on the Kha'Zix before you're trying to go toe-to-toe with this Jarvan.
But even then, the Q damage is so effective just by itself on isolated targets.
The other thing you had to worry about too was, though, this Fiora was already pushed up in her lane, and she could have rotated down because they were just at the jungle entrance, so deciding maybe just to play a little bit safe, even though he could have maybe taken the fight. Not going to find too many huge advantages. We can see those stats on there, and those are 19th in the league. That's not where you want to be in stats for Karen, but unfortunately Top has just not been finding success so far in the season.
It's 0-5, as we said before, still looking to pick up their first win, but with Karin coming up top lane.
Well, this is what you need to do. Try and make an early play up and toward that top lane. Challenge is going to be used, and that's going to be the parry. Actually dodge away from the call of the Forge God, and it's going to tick on down the Ignite, but it won't be enough. The Flash is also going to be used on top of that, and the Fiora is going to be able to get out of there alive, so no first blood going over to Top just yet.
She doesn't lose all that much for it. They're going to push the wave in, but most likely just going to teleport back. Has the Tiamat to try and farm effectively on the tower as well. So, hasn't lost much for other than the flash, and we need to see a repeat gank from Karin up here when the ultimate's available again from Moyu to really punish that.
Yeah, it's hard to catch out that Fiora, but, you know, if you get rid of her escapes, there is always that ability to try and go for it. In mid lane, you do see Guang just still looking to clear out that wave on the Karma, just looking to get some more items, get that support build rolling in the mid lane to try and help out that Kog'Maw. Really top, that's how they're looking to play this one out. Look for the late game, let that Kog'Maw carry these fights into the later half around those objectives like the Baron. And maybe on the Kha'Zix, we've seen the Kha'Zix actually pop up a couple times during into these comps where they've been able to find those like last minute picks that really open up objectives if he's able to stay stealth throughout the majority of the jungle. So ward control is going to be a big factor here for LGD.
I'm just keeping my eye on mid lane, and it's something I touched on a little bit already, but it's so interesting to look at. The way the minion dematerialize is being used, with Gong having used all of his already to keep up the ability to push the wave with the damaged minions. But Nanzu's using it in a completely different way. He's using it to kill off cannon minions. He's using it to kill off big minions and then have a little bit of extra time to get away from the lane, to go get this blue buff.
Well, in the mid lane, that's going to be a roam coming out from Cat, and the jump comes on in from Karin, and Nazu, he's got nowhere to run. That's going to be first blood going on over to Top Sports, and actually Cat is going to be the one securing that gold. Maybe wanted it on the Kha'Zix, but either way, an early play coming out from top.
And tell you what, that blue buff didn't last too long on her, did it? Ends up back onto the other side straight away. And the Cat gonna be walking around now with a blue buff Grom, spamming out those Qs a little bit more often. Gonna feel rather happy with himself, but the first blood all the same, and QQ taking a big chunk in the bot lane, but Brom able to collapse now. Let's see if the blue buff AP Brom is gonna be able to help him out.
Well, Imp, you do see there landing those mystical shots, but isn't really having a great time in the farm game here, as even though they pushed this underneath the tower, it looks like to be about a two-wave advantage here for QQ on the Kog'Maw this early.
This is really impressive right now, but this is off of good base timings and having the better pressure in the lane. You can see they managed to go back and get the perfect pickup for the Kog'Maw at this point in the game, which is that recurve bow plus the pickaxe. If you're in a situation where you can't pick up the pickaxe or and you're forced to go for like the blasting wand, it can feel absolutely awful.
But this could be an early play here coming down from LGD. You use the Weaver's Wall to try and cut off the team. That is going to be enough for the teleport to come out of the Karma in the mid lane, but that's all they are going to go ahead and get. LGD just going to roam back up. The Tally are going to go and try and clear out the wave. Maybe even make a quick play down here as Top. Just going to keep the Karma down here for safety in case that Jarvan's hiding away. And that's what they'll give to LGD. They actually have secured themselves a lot of decent vision to try and track Kha'Zix in the bottom half of the jungle to try and go for these plays.
It's really mitigated his early game pressure, and it's given Amy so much free time to be able to farm up, become a bit more tanky to the point where he can go in and have an effective 2v2, not have to worry about getting chunked out instantly by a Kha'Zix who's got parts of the Warrior's enchantment already. But he has had to use his stopwatch, and I believe he used that not too long ago as well. So
you know,
that's not gonna be very useful for him. That's gonna mean that he can be punished that much easier if he does end up going too aggressive and getting punished by ganking and vision.
Thing is to do note here is we'll get back to it here, is that's gonna be a flash root coming out in the mid lane, and look at this Top already looking to abuse Nazu in the mid lane on the Talia as Karin makes his second trip in there, and no flash available even with that spellbook cooldown. That's going to be a 2-0 kill lead in favor of Top and a 1,000 gold lead across the map here at 10 minutes. Early plays, that's what we've seen teams do to really just try and steamroll over LGD, because we find that LGD, when they do fall behind, they just kind of sit back and take it. You never see them try and come back into the game and really try and turn it around. Instead, they just kind of get choked out slowly through the course of the game.
And Nanzu, we mentioned it already, he is the weak point of his team on the map. He really struggled playing against Doinby the other day for Rogue Warriors, and it was the team plays across the map that ended up giving them the advantages back. He ended up falling massive amounts of CS down during the laning phase, getting solo killed as well. But this is really well done by Top to acknowledge that he is the weak point and punish him accordingly. The flash route from Gong, instantaneous, and it did net them another kill, and this time onto the Kha'Zix, the one you actually want on.
You know, you get on that Cossack, get some gold for himself, got that Warriors enchantment completed, got the magical boots also coming online, and this is actually at the time that, you know, Emmy, he doesn't really get the opportunity to come back here and damage. He had to go for that tank route because you are running the Fiora up into the top lane, so he won't have that raw damage, but he's going to try his best to make an impact here in the mid lane. That's going to be the Cataclysm coming on down by top. They're rotating members over, and PYL, he says, hey, you know what, we got to get out of here, man. Call of the Forge God, going to land onto the Kench, but that will be enough for LGD to escape this turnaround.
And nobody die. It's Tom Kench. This is what he does. Just snatches him up and walks away.
The usual. Nothing too out of the ordinary.
But in the meantime, you can see here Jinnu getting a big chunk of tower damage in the top lane, and what they lose is pressure on the mid. So they're losing the vision they had to try and stop Karin from making plays around the river. And this is going to give him a bit more freedom, and maybe it's going to lead to them going towards Dragon in the near future. You mentioned already how bot is having an advantage with QQ, so this would be a good time to think about going towards Dragon.
And look at this, because of that Jarvan build, he does not really have the damage to try and match the Kha'Zix, but the bait comes out with the stopwatch, and that's going to be a turnaround kill, the first one of the game for LGD on their mid lane.
And that's really nice use of the stopwatch there, good timing, and with Kha'Zix having his down, or as we already mentioned, jumps over the wall on so low HP, gets punished for it. That's going to be the first kill of the game for LGD onto this really punished Talia pick. So it's going to be good to see her get a bit more gold, see if she can start getting into the game in terms of damage. But you can see that he jumps over the wall already on solo HP, the seismic shove, catching the invisible target. Obviously, when you hit an invisible target, you get that little flash, that little glimmer that shows you that you've hit an invisible target. So she knew he was there, fires off the Q instantly, becomes visible, and that helps her finish off the kill.
That's kind of the issue there with this Kha'Zix. If you try and go into a choke point against the Talia, and you try and chase down a target, he actually went over about 4 of the minefield rocks laid down by the Talia, and that's kind of what chunked him so low as he went over that. I was wondering where that burst of damage came from. It wasn't actually the threaded volleys, it was that minefield that came out, so gotta be a little bit more careful, and that over-aggression will get punished, and LGD, they can easily use that to get back into this game.
It's going to give them a bit of time with this scaling composition that as we mentioned, and we know that eventually in this at some point in the game, it is an inevitability that Jinnu will be able to solo kill Moyu. It's just if he has been given the time to get there or not. And this is why top needs to snowball advantages, play off of Gong like they have been thus far, and see if they can do more to net them enough of an advantage come the teamfight phase.
That's another good combo coming out from Nezu on the Talia, but he gets chunked on down by the Mantra Q from the Karma, so gotta be a little bit careful with the aggression. To show, though, that Karin has to be a little bit more careful, but look at this toward the bot side. The Jarvan trying to sneak his way into the lane to maybe go for a lane game. Gonna try.
You do need to clear this ward in the brush here, otherwise he will be spotted out.
No sweeper, so they don't actually know this is here, and they only have the one control ward. PYL would have to put this down. Looks like LGD, they know something's up here, and instead just gonna back off.
Yeah, top. Playing safe under the tower, just happy to scale up slowly. They know they've got the late game with that Kog'Maw as well, and he doesn't really have that damage necessarily right now, so it's buying the time for him as well. And it's really about the 4-1 unit here for LGD, and you've got to think about how Jinnu wants to get big enough to be able to dominate the side lane, while the 4-man unit is sustainable, and Tahm Kench is enabling disengage to stop them being collapsed on as a 4-man unit, while the Fiora destroys the side lane. On the other side, they want to have this 5-man death ball composition. They want to have Ornn knocking up multiple members, and Kha'Zix being able to jump in and get down a bunch of free damage.
But look at this, LGD, all 5 members down in the bot lane. They say, okay, Cat, QQ, you're a little too safe here. They're actually able to bring down 2 members to help support their bot lane and top. It looks like they might be able to turn this one around. LGD, they're going to have to force a summoner out of their mid laner trying to escape.
So it's double TP for the TP and flash, but overall that ends up being a fairly even play, especially with Imp out of mana nearing that play. It's not really the best time to try and dive, and with no stopwatch actually for Kog'Maw entirely in this game, maybe that's why they were thinking they could go for that dive. Neither of those bot laners have that available for themselves, and it would mean that they could be more punishable, but no, Kog'Maw choosing to go for the boots instead, that little bit of extra movement speed.
Get a little bit of extra moves. And he also has that Rage Blade completed, so a decent item spike. But you know what? He doesn't have safety with this build at this point, and that's going to be the Cataclysm coming on down. Are they actually not going to be able to finish him off in time? It looks like they finally will, as Imp doesn't even pick up the kill there. Actually, PYL will secure it, I believe, with the tongue. So LGD, they're able to make a play down in that bot lane and are looking to finally secure a turret in this one. 16.5 minutes. Going to be the first break gold going on over to their bot lane.
We'll see if they back off. They're just going to share it fairly evenly yet. Imp waiting, and then picks up the gold all onto himself. So he's going to be able to pick up the man immune very shortly. They do lose a chunk of mid lane damage here, but we're going to see what happened in the mid as Nanzu tries to TP down.
Come on,
right in front of the face of the Kazakhs.
That is
not really a good decision. Questionable decision making.
Well, you know, it's the
You know
start.
what that reminds me of? That reminds me of Faker versus Ambition. Faker's debut when Ambition levels up the claws as Kha'Zix
In
and
the-
gets instantly
yeah.
punished. Yeah, it's
Not the smartest thing you could do there in the mid lane for LGD, and that's a free kill. That's free gold to go onto their mid laner or onto this Kha'Zix. So those are just not the kind of mistakes you want to be going, and that's just I don't know. That's either no respect or just some not too aware that there's a Kha'Zix literally right in front of you.
with the complacency from Nanzu and the fact that we've said he's fairly weak in lane already, it might lead LGD to think about subbing in Yuki for next game. We saw him last series as well. He did play very effectively on that pick, in the series, and then was able to pull out a win for his team against Rogue Warriors. So I think they have to think about the complacency of Nanzu, as he said, the mistakes he's making, and the fact that he is costing them advantages across the map, that they need somebody else to sub in and hopefully give that bit of a boot up Nanzu's backside to say, hey, that's not okay. You can't make those kind of mistakes consistently. We need you to be performing at a higher level than that. We have someone else available. It's that kind of competitive spirit that really works when you've got the sub roster like this. And China's been using it more than anybody.
Well, you got a minute and a half until the Baron joins us. LGD started a position toward that, have swapped over their bot lane up into the top lane, trying to at least push down that tower and try and speed this game up and not let that Kog'Maw scale as hard as he is. But you know what? You got that Berserker Greaves, you got the Rage Blade complete. He's hit himself a nice little spike, and once he gets in one more item, he's going to be a bit of a pain to deal with. And Imp, at the moment, he's still scaling up, hasn't finished off the Mirror Mana stacking just yet. Has that Iceborne Gauntlet to at least kite on back, but still this mid lane has to be some concern for LGD, and Karen, he just follows him over the wall, and Guang is actually going to pick up the kill. PYL, though, wants to try and answer for this. Going to try and lick away, ends up devouring him, but here comes the call of the Forge God from the top lane. Doesn't connect on too many members, and that's going to be the kill going on over to the Fiora up in top lane. Meow has made his way into the mid lane, looking to clear this one out, but LGD, they're able to turn around that fight and pick up a kill for themselves. It's a 1-for-1. Can top maybe make it possibly more in their favor? Cat has roamed on over, but deciding against it, just looking to clear out the wave.
Okay, one thing, Opal, I want to highlight from that fight is Moyu came down to mid and used his ultimate to try and save Gong. And all it ends up doing is giving Janu something to riposte so he can stun up Gong to secure the kill for himself.
Yeah, we've seen. I've actually seen a lot of the Fiora Ornn matchups actually kind of go into a negative favor for Ornn just based off that. There's a lot of times where they'll accidentally give some hard CC to the Fiora onto one of your squishy members. So gotta be a little bit careful, and that's kind of, I guess, the idea here is Imp's actually not going to be able to take his red buff. Kara just comes on over, sneaks that one away, and Fail jumps the wall. So he made a good play, and then he just fell flat on his face. But their top lane, they're actually going to be looking to pick up their first tower of the game.
It's for every cool thing you do, you gotta go and throw one to the opposite highlight reel there, and it's a nice little steal away though from Karin. It's definitely important to take it away from someone like Imp, who is so poke-based and can really punish a Kog'Maw by having that extra range, being able to pop a red buff on him and then chase him down so easily. And when you've got the Iceborne Gauntlet on top of it, it's only that much more deadly. So having it for himself, not only just the gold on him as well, it's so beneficial.
It's this kind of been the story here of top. They have some good plays, and then they have some Awkward
Questionable.
mistakes, the happy mistakes. It's happy accidents coming out from top, but you don't want to be making too many of those because LGD, even though they lost 2 kills early, they've just stuck around here in the gold and actually are now starting to look to pressure up toward this top tower and look to actually secure themselves a little bit of a gold lead. I'm just going to go ahead and clear out that wave with the True Shot Barrage, and that's going to be the second tower going on over to LGD, giving themselves at least tying up the gold lead.
Still, really, although there's been a gold lead in the favor of top, it's mostly been from that mid lane, and the fact that they've been killing Nanzu so often. Everywhere else on the map, LGD has had the advantages. You've seen in the bot lane, they've been the ones making the plays, they've been the ones pushing the towers. And in the top lane as well, we can see that Janu is slowly eking out an advantage over Moyus. It's only a matter of time, really, before Talia comes online anyway, and then it's just down to who has the rest of their team more fed. And I think we can both agree that overall, in the late game, a Talia has a larger impact than a Karma. So Karma's just going to become a shield bot.
On top of that, you got that Kog'Maw now finishing off the rune end, so starting to hit that 2 to 3 item spike, and this is a little bit of a dangerous point because this is where he starts kind of tearing apart the teams. Doesn't have the wits end, and likely won't even need to go that actually because he's only facing the 1 AP threat. Might go for a little bit more damage, possibly the Bork build, but you can see top positioning themselves toward this tower. Do you have Amy toward the side on the Jarvan, looking for possibly the flag drag? That's the True Shot Barrage burned by Imp just to look to clear out the wave and try and get some harass down. LGD though, not pulling the trigger just yet.
So you said about the wits end, and something I actually want to go back to on that is it's rather interesting because it steals magic damage from your opponents. You can chunk them out that much easier because you steal that magic damage. So you steal the magic resistance, and most of your damage is magic as well.
Yeah, you did see top there. They did look for a play in the mid lane. Did use the Fisher from the Braum. Was trying to catch out Nazu. Did actually burn his flash, so he's going to end up going on back. Has the Ghost available. Might TP back if LGD is engaged upon, but looks like they can play safely underneath this tower. Still top. They want to try and knock down this tower to gain control of the midsection of the map and try and get that vision down toward the Baron and really make LGD...
But down in the bot lane?
Well, down the bot lane, you still have that Fiora pushing. What is top going to decide to do? Are they going to fully commit to a fight here in mid, or are they just looking to take the tower? The tower goes on down. Janu hasn't even gotten to the tower just yet. In LGD, they're not going to be able to answer for this just yet. Top able to take a very slight gold lead.
And it's going to be important for them to take down this mid lane tower. Now they've got the top outer and the mid outer down. They can push wards deep into the enemy jungle around that Baron pit. And having that pressure means that you can go for Baron that much easier. And that's where you can force a 5v5 team fight, which is exactly what top sports want to have at this point in the game. It's definitely not what LGD want, but if LGD has this composition with Baron, when you've got the side lane Fiora on top of this very safe 4-man unit, it's really hard for top to do anything.
I see Imp up there. He's looking a little big there. Got himself Elixir of Iron from the Kleptomancy. Little fun thing you have. You love getting those in the middle of a fight. Getting that extra boost of health during the thick of things. Gonna end up trying to push that wave back up toward the top side. Still farming away. It's been a quiet game so far, to say the very least, between top and LGD. 24 minutes. Only 7 kills across the board. Only 2 towers, and we haven't even...
Korea, that's a quick game.
Hey, you know what? That'd be a quick game, and LPL, this one's starting to last a little long. I was about to say no dragons taken, but looks like finally top decided to pull the trigger after having control of the area for a decent amount of time to pick up the first dragon of the game. Gonna be a Cloud Drake at 25 minutes. Gonna be followed up by another one. So gonna have that extra move speed to try and roam around the map and at least get some more early vision or down toward LGD and try and maybe catch out a couple members. And speaking of catching out members, PYL, he's forced to flash away. Weaverswell's trying to cut off the rest of the team, but 2 members make it on over, and PYL, he gets caught out, and he gets taken on down.
And they can go for Baron here, but meanwhile the PvE build from Janu having that Triforce,
there you go.
It's going to allow him to get a tower for himself, so at least there is some consolation. And it is still 50-50. Amy is just over the wall, waiting to come in.
50-50 against a Kha'Zix, though. You do have that additional damage from the Q, and actually, with the Talia to the side, a huge seismic shock won't be able to save him, and top picks up the kill. Imp has been slowly chipping away, though, at the team. The Karma Shield being used, and Amy and them might decide to go for a play. You still got the Fiora in the bot lane, the poke coming in. Imp wants to position himself. Finally, the TP is going to come on through. And now top, they have to decide, can they do anything? A steal comes on through from Emmy on the Jarvan, but can LGD survive the fight? Imp is just kiting along the side, but look at this top, turn it around. That's going to be a double kill in favor of Karin. And in the end, top are able to take down 4 members of LGD, though they do at least secure the Baron in their favor. And top, they aren't going to be too happy with that play.
A very delayed ace where they did take it down PYL at the start, but the chunk of gold they get for taking Baron, the couple kills they got, the tower they got in bot lane, and denying it from top, it's all worth it for LGD. And now they get Baron on just 1 member of PYL. However, it's still enough to hold up the mid-wave 1v1 against Karma.
PYL, he's the Gensh that can push. He's enjoying that buff. He's got that lone buff for his team. Maybe gonna try and group up the team. They still could possibly use that buff in their favor and maybe pick up something for themselves. Unfortunately, the teleport just came a little early from Jinu in that bot lane. He wasn't able to finish off that inhibitor tower. LGD makes you wonder, you know, if you had a little bit more damage on that Jarvan, perhaps, you know, if he didn't have to build that Cinderhulk, maybe they could have had just enough damage to take down top completely and really swing the gold in their favor. Instead, game still pretty dead even. It's only separated by 500.
Yeah, it's been back and forth all game long, but LGD with the slight advantage now, but still the pressure that can come out from top sports, the ability to turn on somebody with this 5-man unit. We saw what happened to Nanzu. He stepped up a little too close. Instantly, the Ornn ult on top of him. Instantly, the Karma speed up from everybody to collapse onto him as
what?
Yeah, that's just Kog'Maw able to walk through the Talia wall. Did Ornn slam into it?
I think Ornn slammed into it. Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
It removes a big chunk of any created terrain when
it does. I was wondering there, and I remember the Ornn was the one trapped on the side there with the Kog'Maw and Braum, so top using that little niche interaction. We don't get to see that too often with the Ornn. It's a nice...
It reminds me of the old Sejuani interaction that if you queued into a wall, because the wall was coded as having loads of little minions in it, it would knock back part of the wall.
Yeah.
Like you just knocked back a minion.
Yeah, that's there's always some good spaghetti in League of Legends. Good pasta. Let's make some good pasta. LGD still wanting to pressure here in the mid lane, but the clear is gonna come out from top, and this game now goes back into this kind of stalled out state. They're gonna be waiting for this Baron to come up, both teams, because that's where the plays are gonna happen. Baron buff's gonna be taken down here in about 50 seconds by PYL. Unfortunately, he's only a support, so he can't go into a side lane and push. And you can just look at LGD, actually, if you look toward the Baron, just the amount of vision they have laid down to try and keep Nasu and Amy safe on the Jarvan. Just trying to catch out any member of top, maybe trying to react to this push up in top lane. Did see Imp, though. He had to be careful against that Kog'Maw. He's starting to come online, has that Bork now completed, and it's going to really start shredding away at LGD.
This is something we've said a few times that LGD does really well in the mid game, and it's get vision around the map. You can see it just from the inventory. Janu with 2 pink wards, PYL with 3, and it's when PYL hits his sightstone generally that the map just starts being lit up like a Christmas tree. And with him and Amy moving together, they're able to give that much more vision across the map, and it gives LGD the ability to make those plays.
I'll see a bunch of pings coming. Yeah, they want to try and catch out Jinhoon on this Fiora. You have the Braum maybe leading the way. He's going to just back toward his own tower, maybe try and escape here. That's the exhaust. How much is top actually going to try and commit for this fight, perhaps? That's actually a TP coming out here from Guang. Actually, he decided to cancel it in the mid lane. I think got interrupted by the Jarvan. So LGD, they're able to draw out a couple summoners from top. Top maybe trying to make a play here, though, on MPS. Be careful, just looking to back out toward their destroyed turret.
And so now top, they have the pressure because they forced the Fiora back, which means that she doesn't have the ability to push up far in the side lane, force them off of a siege by having a wave push deep into the towers. So top gets some time to free siege, and they have until Fiora starts to get towards that inhibitor.
Good to push in toward this second tier tower. It's going to get taken on down by top, and they're actually going to pop the Call of the Forge God. They're able to catch out the 2 members of LGD, looking to just stall them and try and prevent this tower defense from coming on through. Top, though, they feel like they have the pressure, and the Kog'Maw is just shredding away at the tower. The Fisher's going to be popped, trying to catch out Emmy. He's going to be eaten up there by PYL, but the inhibitor tower is taken down. Top, it looks like they're going to be trading the inhibitor for inhibitor as Jinu still in that bot lane. Is LGD going to be able to prevent the backs? Imp steps forward, gets a decent chunk of damage, but the Fiora will respond with an inhib of her own. Maybe look for a little bit more damage on toward the tower. Looks like LGD, they're just trying to chase these guys down to prevent backs from coming on through.
Yeah, they just want to stop the recalls, but Ornn is going to end up getting back, but it's not before this Nexus
That's
tower
a Nexus
has
tower.
already fallen.
LGD.
Yeah, this is more than an even trade now for LGD. They're trading up in this, and Fiora's just going to be happy to walk away at this point, knowing that she's baited the Ornn back, the key engage point for top. So now that 4-man unit in mid is fairly safe.
And LGD, they now have to feel a little bit confident in top. They have to question, the decision there to try and go for that inhibitor or try and do anything. They might have tried to have to force a fight in order to prevent that, but they weren't able to. Baron's going to be coming up in 1 minute, but they have lost their bot lane inhibitor, and that's kind of a priority here for LGD, and they're also going to look to try and catch out Cat while he's back and going to get devoured on down, and that's going to be PYL picking up the kill for himself.
Yeah, PYL ends up picking one back up, and it's LGD slowly trying to claw their way back into the game, and it's been off of little mistakes, like waiting far too long before sending a member back to deal with that Fiora, and
well, they honestly couldn't.
like
That was LGD
they
just
had the
preventing
time,
backs.
But the thing is, they had the time to siege up until Fiora hit the inhibitor tower, and they got to the opponent's inhibitor tower and went, it's us taking the inhibitor tower versus her taking the inhibitor tower, and they bought into that trade for 1-for-1. Rather than sending a member back and then doing a loose siege where you just try and get chip damage from the tower, they bought into it fully, and that cost them it.
And now becomes the issue. The Fiora actually didn't even have to use her teleport during all that. And that's going to be a Baron coming up in 5 seconds. So top, they don't really have priority when it comes to this. They have to keep their Ornn down in bot lane, and they have to deal with a 4v4 fight possibly coming out from LGD. If they catch out the Kog'Maw, that's just a huge chunk of damage for top. It's only going to be then the Cossacks to try and carry these fights, because he went with a little bit more of a support style build from the Karma to try and just amplify the shields and provide support to this Kog'Maw. You see LGD moving their way over with those wards. Janu still in the bot lane, looking to pressure, actually getting some vital hits down onto the Ornn. That's going to chunk him down a little bit low. Up in top lane, PYL, he's forced to flash away. Top, they were playing aggressive. They want to try and catch out any member of LGD they can.
Yeah, they want, like you say, they want to get those catches, but without Ornn available, with Ornn being forced to deal with Fiora in a side lane, a lot of their engage is missing. Imagine that play there with Karma speeding people up, trying to catch somebody out with it, forcing the flash, but then having the Ornn over the wall. And this is the effectiveness of picking the Fiora into it. You have that much ability to force him away from that fight.
Top is going to go for this, it seems. Karin is over to the side on the Cossacks. He's actually a decent chunk of the damage. You do see QQ looking to go for this. Top, they have to disengage, because still, look at the bottom of your screen. You still have Janu on this Fiora, poking away at this Ornn. Top, they feel like they're starting to panic here. Doesn't seem to know exactly what they're going to do. They're going to just end up going back. It looks like they're going to commit to the Fiora, and that's going to give LGD the kind of the inside track toward this Baron if they want to go for it. That's actually the Kog'Maw down there, so they can easily decide to do this. Instead, opting to back, try and get some items for themselves, get some more wards, and look to just play this a little bit more safe.
But she was buying so much effective time for her team in the mid lane, and unfortunately they didn't use it. But she was fighting the enemy super minions. She was dragging the mid lane wave down to the bot lane to fight against her own super minions, so that their mid lane wave would be able to push in deeper. They could get better vision pressure around the Baron. Unfortunately, the communication with the team isn't quite there. They end up backing all at the wrong time, and now they're going to lose any vision they had anywhere near Baron.
Top just gonna come up here and look to clear out the wave. Maybe even try and catch out the Jarvan.
Here comes Tom.
Gonna try and run for his life. PYL's coming around a corner. Gonna have the flash come out. He's gonna devour him and spit him back out underneath the tower, saving his life. Has to be a bit careful. Still that split push down the bot lane, not to anywhere close to the Nexus. This allows Top to at least take another tower in their favor. Still, LGD, they have the gold advantage. Still feels like they got the tempo, but Top are now gonna be able to dominate the top side of this jungle.
And this is where I have to say I disagree with Jinu's build. He can't really kill Moyu 1v1 right now because he has that much armor. You need to be going for the Black Cleaver instead of this Triforce. The Triforce is a PvE build. You need that PvP build. You need to be able to threaten a kill 1v1 at least, so you can then get onto the towers. I mean, if he goes away for the 5v4, that's one story, but you're buying into the fact that your team is going to all die and you're pushing by yourself.
Top is going to go for this play around the Baron once again. Will LGD actually look to try and respond to this? That's going to be a Weaver's Wall, and that's enough actually to threaten getting caught out. Maybe LGD are the ones getting caught out here as LPL. He's going to be snared up, has to pop his shield, but he is just going to get torn apart by the Kog'Maw. Redemption going to keep the team very healthy. Imp, he arcane shifts forward. That's still the inhibitor though. In bot lane, looks like LGD, they're just going to make a call to try and go for the game here in bot. It looks like in response that is going to force Top to try and respond with a teleport themselves. You gotta love Spellbook as everyone's teleporting all over the place.
It forces them to back off of the Baron, though, knowing PYL's dead. They make this play not to try and end the game, but to go, okay, you have to stop taking Baron right now, or the game will end. And it's very effective, and it buys them the time for PYL to come back up, and they can contest Baron all over again, with Jinu's TP still up.
So LGD are able to prevent that Baron attempt, but Top, they say, hey, you know what? We don't know where you are right now. We actually have full vision of the Talia. Cat is going to interrupt the True Shot barrage coming out from Imp. There might be a steal coming on through. Imp has to find it, but it won't happen as Karn is going to be able to secure that Baron. That's actually a righteous glory. Kog'Maw flashes over the Cataclysm. Top are maybe looking for the end of the game fight. Emmy gets caught out. He's going to get taken on down by QQ. Just like that, Top, they find the one pick. LGD, they still have 4 members to try and defend the base.
And now it's starting to look really risky with the Baron available for this 5-man Death Ball composition. All they need is a solid engage from Ornn. Maybe try and bait out the, Devour from PYL, and then instantly go for that. And without the Braum available to block the Ornn shield, this is the problem. You can't stop a 5-man engage.
You see Imp, he's trying to get that poke on down, but I think we gotta talk about this righteous glory, glory Kog'Maw. I was not expecting that. All of a sudden, I saw the Kog'Maw just running straight after this poor Jarvan, and that's gotta be a scary thought. But Top, they are looking to try and end out this game, it seems, taking down the top lane inhibitor tower. Next is gonna be the inhibitor to fall, and just like that, they now have 2 lanes of super minions going to be crashing into LGD's base. Now with full control, it seems, of this game, the question becomes, can they try and finish this off?
So one of the biggest issues with Kog'Maw is you're trying to hit somebody from maximum range. They use one gap closer. They're out of your range, you can't hit them anymore. Because your range is so great, by using the Righteous Glory, you get 2 or 3 more auto attacks in. And that's more beneficial than having the damage item. Because 2 or 3 auto attacks versus 1 damage item, yeah, it's definitely going to be allowing him to chase people down a lot easier. And now look at the next item he's picked up, Frozen Mallet. There is no escape from him, and that's exactly what he's trying to do. Hit somebody at maximum range.
Because what is your true hard CC? You mentioned that Cataclysm, but that Jarvan is going to be able to burst him on down because this Kog'Maw...
When you have a 3-minute flash to get just flash it the moment he comes out with it to chase down Imp even further. Why do you even need it?
On top of that, you're going to have a Karma that's just going to be shielding him nonstop. They should never be separated. Top are going to just play this death ball style of play around the map, moving as a unit. And if LGD try to contest anything, I don't even think they can win a fight. It's going to take a miracle hill here for LGD to try and turn this around.
And they've got to the point in the game where they're strong enough that they force Fiora out of the side lane. She knows that she can't exist in the side lane because they will just destroy her team in a 5v4. And that is the tale of a losing game immediately. So she needs to come in and try and assassinate the Kog'Maw near instantly. And it's going to be down to the team to protect him.
You see Top here, they're looking to siege onto the final inhibitor tower, and then close it out possibly with the last inhibitor. You do see Janu over to the wall, going aggressive onto Karn. Has to be careful here. Top just going to try and stall out the wave. LGD, the minions up in top lane, starting to hit onto the Nexus towers, and that has to force them to back off. Weaver's Wall's going to try and trap what seems top, but guess what? They just say, hey, you're trapped in your base with us. Call the Forge God. Going to land straight on top of PYL. He's just looking to limp away with the shield, but just like that, top take their third inhibitor of the game. LGD, they have to decide, when are we going to try and defend our base? Are we just going to get choked out? Nazu gets choked out extremely low by the Mantra Q, and top are now going to start knocking on this Nexus towers. Can LGD find the fight to maybe find a way back into this game? They're going to go on in with a 4-man Cataclysm, but Emmy just gets destroyed by top. He has to back out. Here comes Janu. They're all going in one at a time. Exhaust is going to be popped. The Fiora's not going to do any damage. Imp trying his best to save the base, but he has no mana. Guess what came off cooldown? Another Call of the Forge God from Mao, and now they're looking for the Nexus. LGD, they have no way of defending this. Now the kill's gonna start rolling on through for top, and just like that, top are able to find their first win of the season. Still need one more game to close out the series.
And it's been a long time coming, but Top Sports, formerly known as Dan Gaming, they pick up a win in an LPL series, and that 0-5 record doesn't mean anything when you're able to take a win off of a team like LGD on current form, and now it's just one more game before they can pick up that first series. And you got to think, it's not necessarily down to just, we talked about the mistakes being made by LGD, how they weren't necessarily playing around the pressure properly, how the itemization from Fiora was questionable, and how Nanzu has been playing in the mid lane, but you cannot take away from how cleanly they executed that snowball around the mid lane, how cleanly they got their team into the lead. And it didn't matter that the bot lane was falling behind when the mid lane was already up by 4 kills.
You can see that gold graph. Do you see just top just running away with this one? LGD, they just couldn't really do anything after what seemed like the 25-minute mark, and this is kind of the play style we see from LGD. If they lose that early game, they just don't come back to try and fight it out. You even saw during that base defense, no one tried to suicide in, maybe try and find a miracle kill.
So disjointed, yeah.
It just feels like it's unmotivation when they fall behind early, and this is a fact too. Look at the damage graph for that Jarvan, only 4.3 damage. He had the lowest damage in the game on a Jarvan. That is...
I mean, that's pretty common when you build full tank Jarvan, but all the same, you got to be looking at the team and thinking, in that, especially in that final team fight, they need to be going in on that engage with him. The moment he gets that Cataclysm onto 4 people, we saw at least the Ezreal ult came out, was blocked by the Braum shield, but you need to see more things going in on top of them. You need to see Nanzu willing to throw those threaded volleys into the center. What ended up happening was he had to flash out, everybody backed off, they all got bursted to pieces, and that was the end of the game.
Well, with that, guys, we are going to go for a little break for ourselves, maybe warm up our lips a little bit more. I know we're just warming up for tonight, but there's still plenty of LPL action around the corner. LGD versus top. Can top look to finally break their winless streak in the LPL, or can LGD tie this one up, take us to a game 3? We'll find out quite shortly. We'll be right back.
Fading into the darkness. I was chasing sunsets all alone. The darkness faded, painting goodbye big sky. Far away but dreaming of your ocean eyes.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, as we get set for Game 2 between LGD and Top Sports. I'm Alexander Opal-Archambault. Joining me for the cast is Stuart Sin McLeod. And Sin, we wondered from LGD what was going to be their first ban, and it looks like they went through with it. The Kog'Maw isn't going to be seeing the light of day this time.
Oh yeah, definitely not letting that one through. Really well played in the last game, and The build was interesting. The Frozen Mallet on top of the Righteous Glory ended up working wonders for them, following up on the engage from the Ornn, and still gonna take that Zoe off the board nice and early though. A few mid lane bans, and this time though it's top banning the Gangplank, the Sejuani, and the Camille.
And on top of this, LGD also making a substitution. It's going to be Yuki here in the second game, and already showing the pick. It's going to be the Azir in the mid lane.
Yeah, Nanzu did struggle in the last game. He did get fairly camped, but he did not play into it at all. He acknowledged that he was the primary focus of the enemy team, and yet he made no changes to his playstyle, died 4 times, and really that was where a lot of the advantages came in for Top Sports. So subbing in Yuki now, trying to make a change, see if this is going to help out at all. And going onto a pick like Azir straight away is definitely a chance for him to show up and make a name why he should be the starting mid laner.
For top here, though, I like the jungle pickup. Getting that Jarvan immediately on the first rotation after that Azir first pick from LGD, especially how Karin actually played in the first game, this should allow him to make even more opportunities for himself early on.
And denying the comfort pick of the Varus from Imp as well. By picking that up, it's just a nice rotation from them. Takeaways from the opponents whilst also being strong picks in their own right.
On top of that, the Varus, so the initiation is going to be available for LGD, though, this time. Imp is going to get himself the Ezreal once again, and now the question becomes, what's going to be the priority, a jungler, or instead they are going to favor into the support, so leaving themselves open to some of these jungle bans that can come on through from top. Top, what are they going to decide to do? They decide, hey, you know what, we'll at least take our top lane this time around, maybe even focus more toward that instead.
Without the Camille available and then instantly banning the Jace, yeah, that's a lot of the pressure onto Gnar mitigated instantly. There's very little Jinnu can pull out that would really punish the Gnar now, unless we see something really cheeky that we're not expecting. I don't know what Jinnu has in his pocket. We saw that Riven the other day, and we saw the Fiora just last game. I don't know if he's got something that could really surprise me here with this as well. So it might be the AD Kennen that we've seen come back.
Could be a possibility. Top in their second ban rotation, going to get rid of the Jace. Not going to be allowing that carry to come up through the top lane for LGD. LGD responding to that Karma in mid lane. Wasn't too satisfied with how they had to play around that. And just look at top. They are just aiming toward this top lane. 3 carries. Make that 4 carries. Taken away by them as the Fiora is going to be their last ban.
They're just saying, please, Jinnu, please just play a tank. Please.
Please.
Give Moyu a break.
Please, just do something for him. Instead, LGD gonna ban away the Kench, so he's gonna be on the bench for game 2 instead of onto the Rift. Now for top, what do they want to prioritize? The support pickup would be probably a go-to here. They don't really have to show anything too much. Might be going for that Janna, like we mentioned. We've seen it a couple times into this Braum matchup, and it's worked all right and does provide that safety to the ADC, and Cat's gonna lock that in.
Something I've been finding interesting in China is the lack of emphasis on picks like Tristana. We've seen Ezreal, Varus, we've seen basically that on repeat, and Kog'Maw on top of it as well. But the more crit-based AD carries like Tristana kind of fall away when they've been so prominent in every other region. And with a pick like Janna, picks like that generally heightened that much more. And you can get the benefits from the fleet footwork, but instead choosing still to go for these more utility-based ADCs, and I say utility in a loose way. You've got the poke from the Ezreal, you've got the tank shredding, plus the lockdown from a Varus, and it's rather interesting to see how the meta shakes out worldwide, but there's now Vladimir pick for Jinnu, going for a different kind of pick altogether. And this means you've got two big AP threats that scale late into the game.
You're talking about different picks this time around. It's going to be the Rek'Sai also getting locked in for the jungle. So quite an aggressive comp here. Your real only true tank is going to be that Braum, maybe the Vladimir once he gets some HP. And in the mid lane for top, they're going to answer off, finish off their comp. It's going to be the Kassadin.
Okay, so this is an interesting matchup for the Kassadin. It's somewhere where there is a lot of poke that can come out from Yuki, but once you hit that level 6 mark, once you start being able to jump on top of him consistently, Azir gets pressured out that much easier. One flag and one Shurima slide away isn't going to be enough to keep you safe. And that's where Gong is really going to shine if he gets to that point in the game where he's left in a long lane. against multiple members.
And we've also seen the Kassadin into the Azir matchup a couple times, and Azir can have a lot of issues with this matchup, especially early. That poke that can come out from the Q of the Kassadin can really just set him on back in lane and have to passively farm and look to just scale on into that team fight monster. But the Kassadins can just come in and delete him in the later part of the game. Depending on the build path, we might see the Kassadin that's tanky or the Kassadin that's an assassin. You never know, Doomby. Maybe he's
we're gonna see. I'm not sure we're going to be seeing the Doan B. Kassadin today.
Hey, you know what?
Crystal Mask into Iceborne Gauntlet, yeah.
We've been seeing it. We've been seeing it a couple times. It's worked. It's pretty tanky. It's pretty hard to deal with, but we'll have to see how the players are going to build as we're going to see how Game 2 is going to pan out. You can see maybe some nervous tensions coming out there from LGD. You know, this would be kind of a big upset, to say the very least, in their home arena after going on a 2-0 week in week 2 and now coming in against the winless Top Sports, actually giving them their first game win of the season in this series. It's got to hit the mentality. You got to say, hey, you know what? We thought we improved after our week 1 kind of downfall we saw. Now the question becomes, how can they recover after giving that win over to Top? As it looks like we're going to go ahead, load on the Rift for game 2.
And so after taking down a team like RNG and then losing to Top Sports as a Top Sports better than RNG confirmed, it's got to give you those doubts, as you're saying. And it's really against the run of form, I think we can say, that Top Sports would be able to pick up this win at all. And the cat might actually have to take a big chunk of damage here. Nice early invade from Imp. He's going to get down a little bit of vision.
Hey,
and,
look at that. He's got a gold sack. Got himself 60 gold. He is so in the lead. One mystic shot.
Look at that. Look at that 100 gold lead already on the scoreboard.
Imp carrying his team, confirmed before the 1 minute mark. LGD already off to a fire start, to say the very least. That Klepto.
It's like game 3 the other day, all over again, where he got 3 kills at level 1. This is exactly what it is.
Exactly. Minus, you know, he probably only has the extra 60 gold from the mystic shot. We won't tell the audience that, but you know, hey. Maybe it's good fortune. Maybe they got more in store for themselves. It looks like LGD, it's going to be the Rek'Sai starting over on the red buff and the Jarvan up on his red buff, so might see a clash in the lanes. And our big question is Karn going to be able to repeat the performance we saw last time around, where he was able to apply early pressure and really punish the mid lane of LGD, and the faithful have left the building 73% in favor of Top Sports. LGD, their faith has been shook, it seems, as they are only sitting at 27.
It seems that China loves an underdog, and coming in for the level 2 gank is Amy.
Yeah, gonna try and make that cheesy play happen. The Winter's Bite connected, and that's gonna be a stun landing on through. First blood going on to Imp. LGD, they've already said, you know what? The game 1 was a mistake. Now, instead of 60 gold, he's got himself a 600 gold lead over in this lane.
That's going to be a really early tier for him if he chooses to back soon. He's probably just going to clear out this wave and base. But now Karan being
they still going for
this
this
as well. This is a really good start from Amy, and I'm really enjoying seeing this more aggressive style from him, where he's willing to go in at level 2 and instantly start pressuring out the opposing jungler.
Well,
is this electrocute he's going for? Yeah.
Yeah, electrocute.
I could have sworn for a second I saw Dark Harvest. I was very confused.
Ooh, that would be gutsy. I know our resident Ender. He's a lovely Rek'Sai main, and he says you're otherwise trolling if you didn't go electrocute if you're looking to play aggressive. And Karan also looking to run electrocute, and this time he can actually. It's gonna be a pretty bloody, I think, jungle matchup between the two teams, because honestly, you're gonna have a quite aggressive Rek'Sai trying to roam around the map, especially after just getting that assist at 2 minutes. They're going to have that extra gold, going to get that Warriors enchantment just a little bit faster, and he can cause havoc. And look at Gimp, he already got another gold sack, another 60 gold. The Ezreal, he's making bank down here.
Oh, he's got an extra potion as well, and he's running the biscuits. He's going to be able to sell so much. He's running the bank, and he's trying to make the most of that kleptomancy before it gets nerfed.
Yeah, it's a little bit. The Kleptomancy nerf's going to be coming on through here in a patch or two. A lot of Inspiration Tree nerfs, actually, because you got the Stopwatch interaction going to be nerfed with Rise. Even the Zhonya's interaction, it seems, will be targeted here in about a patch or two. So Maybe you won't be seeing such a stable pick, but that actually won't hit a lot of the regions until like week 6 or 7 because that's still on beta and could actually not come through. So the Rise still going to be a popular pick for this time around. Emmy maybe looking for a play in mid lane, is spotted out there though, just going to show himself though as a threat.
What you were saying about Rise, it makes me really sad because I remember like back in sort of November, I was playing top lane Rise, running full split push, and whenever anybody came near me, I'd use the Zhonya's teleport combo to get out. It was only really because the stopwatch became, because that was a known play, it was only really because the stopwatch became available, and it was that much easier to pull off the play that it really rose into prominence.
And see here, LGD maybe trying to make another quick play. He's actually just staying in the lane just to apply pressure, it seems. Try and force the Castanet to farm underneath tower. So the Rek'Sai making appearances all over the map. Still only 5 minutes though. Top, they do have the opportunity to turn this one around, and we might start to see some pressure toward that bot lane. Maybe want to try and shut down Imp here. He already, like you mentioned, has that tier, and on top of that, a pickaxe before the 5-minute mark. He is on fire at this point.
But you know what, Opal? Like you were saying about Gong being pressured under his tower, look at how clean that CSing was under tower. Picking up every single one of them, not missing a single one of those, around 10 minions, and that's a joy to watch for me. That's the kind of League of Legends that I like to watch.
That's your most satisfying, like those videos where it was the most satisfying wave clear for champions. You instead you're like, oh, someone can farm underneath tower. Oh, early in the game, oh, that's it. That's
oh yeah.
That's the
lost hitting at 5 minutes in the game. Oh yeah, that's the stuff.
Okay, calm down, Sid. We don't want to get flagged for a mature stream here. Karen, he's gonna spot out the Rek'Sai going for the Gromp in his jungle instead. Gonna just ward him out. He says, all right, Land Shark, you can get out of here. Top lane gonna have the teleport coming on through for the Gnar. Already getting that null magic mantle, gonna start to go a little bit more defensive. So hopefully the Vladimir can't hit too hard, but you can see those chunks already coming on through. That's what happens when you give 3 points into that Q on the Vladimir.
You know, I can't quite remember who it was, but the other day I saw somebody go first item Spirit Visage against a Vladimir as Gnar. I was so disappointed. It looks like he's going to be going for the Hex Shrinker route, still going for an AD route. We've been seeing more Gnars go into that full AD route where they're going like a later game into Bloodthirster, but now in the bot lane.
Oh, look at this. The Winter's Bite was able to land the stacks, and Imp just has a free Wistic shot right on top, and that's actually going to be the Q coming out. PYL, damn. Coming in with the Winter's Bite, and it takes a bite off QQ there as he gets taken down for the second time in just 6.5 minutes. LGD's bot lane, this is what happens if Imp is able to just take over a game. LGD are perfectly fine with this happening because he will easily carry the fights later.
And so definitely a big amount of damage that he can do if he does get himself into the lead. But now we're starting to see Gong pressure out Yuki a lot more as well. There's definitely time for Top to be able to get back into this. But it's got to be off of the mid lane matchup and being able to get some items, maybe start roaming on the Kassadin and then be able to make plays.
Well, that's the thing, you know, that it's that 2v2 in the mid lane and from the jungle, but that's what happens. It's hard to trade against the Azir when you don't have that much mana. He's just looking to try and soak up as much damage as possible before Yuki's going to head on back. And interesting,
he's going to be able to use his W to sustain up his mana a little bit, so he should be fine.
Yeah, should be fine on this. The thing about Yuki, though, he doesn't have the spell book this time around, so if he ends up going back, he's going to miss out on some of the minions, and that allows a free push to come on through from Guang. Instead, it looks like the Kassadin going to be the first one to back here in the matchup, so Yuki gets a little bit of free time in the lane before that teleport's going to be popped. Still see ward coverage coming on through from top. They prioritize toward the river, it seems, and even Guang maybe sitting around the corner, maybe looking for a cheesy kill there in mid lane. Instead, he gets spotted out, and Yuki's just going to go all the way back to his second tier tower.
But delaying the base timer by just a few seconds is enough to net him the pressure and the ability to maybe make a roam here. As the waves pushed in, he can go and get vision into the jungle. And it just gives him the ability to do so much more just from being able to peek his head around that corner.
Again, in that top lane, still a pretty even matchup, 70 to 76 on the farm, and Janu's going to be able to easily farm that, soak that back up for himself to get himself back in contention. It's the big stories here are kind of just the bot lane from LGD already getting that 2-kill advantage, a 20 CS advantage on top of that, getting an early sheen on Imp too. This is a tough lane to be in if you're this Varus. And the timing on that Jonas shield, you wish you had that a little bit, because that was just a chunk of damage that was unneeded. And you can see Imp is able, just in one rotation, almost half health this poor Varus. Imp still positioning a little bit forward, isn't going to get hit by the tornado, but top, they have to do something quick here. I want to see Card maybe make a play, but his bottom side jungle is warded up completely, and Emmy and Yuki are going to go and invade. He is able to secure that blue buff away, but this is the kind of pressure LGD need to keep applying.
So with now having 3 winning lanes, it just gives AD so much free time. It would have been likely 2 winning lanes, but with Varus and the Janna falling down early on, falling into that space of disadvantage that they are in, just gives so much more free time for the Rex side to be able to pressure Jarvan out.
Top lane though, Mao actually gets Hemoplayed. He went aggressive there, ended up using his ultimate. Wasn't able to secure the kill. That Vladimir can play pretty safe, but you can see down in this top lane, Cat, he's actually forced just to use his ultimate so they can sustain themselves in the lane. LGD are putting so much pressure down here.
They're just trying to pressure out this tower now, get a bit more of a chunk onto it. And it's only a matter of time, really, before we see this vision pressure start to disappear around the bot side for top, and that's going to be where we're going to see Amy pull off that bot lane dive.
Well, you do see top, they're able to get themselves a nice little invade, steal away some camps. Still only down 1,300 gold, and you can guarantee all that gold is going to be on Imp with this Ezreal. So if they do pick him off here, the fights can be even, but if he gets out of control just like this, if they're able to secure the first brick tower at 10 minutes and give that solo gold onto Imp, that's disgusting. Emmy's also going to come over here to ensure that they give this on over to him. He's just excelling out of control already. It's only 11 minutes into the game.
This is definitely what you can do with Imp. You can give him all your resources, and if he starts to get snowballing ahead, you know he can do a lot for your team, but it's really that he's not able to get those advantages for himself. He's not going to 1v1 somebody in lane 3 times from the game. He's not going to gain a 20 CS advantage just on 2v2. It's really much more about the willingness of LGD to put resources onto him and trust him to carry.
Well, Rift Herald will be secured there by top, but it's at the consolation of a 2,000 gold lead in favor of LGD, all onto Imp. So now they're just going to rotate that top lane up to the bot and just vice versa, bot lane to top lane to get themselves accelerating this game just out of control. Top, they have to do something here, because they can't allow Imp just to keep rolling like he is. Instead, I kind of feel like it's the same kind of symptoms we saw from LGD in game 1, where they lost an early advantage and are just looking to just try and stick it out to the very end, but they might not have an opportunity to come back.
And with this lane swap coming through, being able to take this tower now and just going tower to tower to net even bigger advantage, speed up the pace of the game. They've already got 2.5k advantage. They're looking to extend that as quickly as possible. And the vision pressure all over the map for LGD is just taking top out of the game entirely, and it looks like this one could be going to game 3 very quickly.
We do have that Rift Herald popped in mid lane, so it looks like top are going to try and make this call to at least try and secure themselves some damage onto the mid lane tower. In bot lane though, Janu, he's going to get walloped on down into the Gnar ultimate, slammed against the wall even before the Hemo Plague pops in. That's something you don't see too often, a Gnar solo killing the Vladimir.
10 HP tower in the mid lane, but yeah, it seems like we kind of cursed it there. Is the moment we praise LGD, they don't get the bot lane tower, they get solo killed in bot lane, and now it looks like they're going to lose this bot lane tower as well. He just needs to all auto attack onto that, and he should be fine.
Well, there you go.
Having flash.
Ooh, has to flash away from the Emperor's Divide. Still, he's going to get knocked up. Has that Rift Walk available, but he can't escape the reach of the soldiers. Yuki will pick up his first kill of the game, get himself some more gold. Just got that Gnasher's Tooth top in the bot lane, though. Going to secure their second tower of the game in response, so they're able to even this one out. LGD will just respawn, but are able to get themselves a little bit back into this gold. Actually, Chain of Corruption popped there by QQ. It's going to force the tunnel out by Emi Yuki. He's actually stuck there, is going to get exhausted, and he has no mana to escape this. Cataclysm on the other side. Karin is going to trap the Rek'Sai. Yuki gets taken down. LGD, they seem to be falling apart, overstaying in the mid lane, trying to juke out as much as he can, but the auto attacks, he can't dodge those.
So, for our newer viewers, welcome to the LPL. That was around a minute and a half long fight, constant skirmishing across the map, and it all ends up culminating in what looks like a 2-for-2, 2 towers for 1.
You're wondering why the LPL doesn't cast all these games officially in English. It's because the poor play-by-plays, they run out of voice from all these team fights going for a minute and a half, and
it's because they don't want to cast LGD.
Hey, you know, I've been enjoying LGD. They've kind of become our little team. We get to always cast them. You know, we're kind of following their story. We know their journey here in Season 8. It hasn't been a pretty one, to say the least. They're only 2-2. The first week was very unpretty. It was kind of a murder by all means, as they got perfect gamed in their first game. But to come back now to this,
it was the first game of both of the first 2 series. Actually, they got perfect games.
Yeah, that or near. It was a little disgusting. They just kind of, like we said, that mentality. You lose early and you just don't look to come back. Top though have shown signs of life. They're looking for some plays. It hasn't always gone in their favor. Luckily for them, LGD have been making some mistakes. But Imp, it's a little scary when he can burst down the poor red buff at 800 health, and that gives no opportunity for Karin to even secure that for himself. Up in top lane, Yuki's going to go aggressive. Emperor's Divide is just going to push him into the Rek'Sai. Knock up, has the Rift Walk available. Winter's Bite is going to land, has to pop his stopwatch. Imp is going to be waiting just right there. Picks up the kill with the auto attack. The Fisher coming out just to ensure their CC after it. And like that, LGD are looking to pick up their 4th tower of the game, the 2nd tier tower in top.
This is such a quick game here from LGD. They've managed to experience a massive pace increase from doing that lane swap, from trading tower for tower, but still retaining this 3k gold lead, still extending the gold lead. And now it's only a matter of time before they're looking to siege up these mid and bottom towers, then start sieging up the base. And we're not even at 20 minutes, so they can't even think about using Baron to extend that siege.
Well, that's going to be Vladimir just looking to farm underneath his tower. He's now said, okay, that Nar's a bit scary, got solo killed, I'm not going to be playing too aggressively. Is Imp going to clear out his Raptors and is just farming up a Storm, now up 30 CS over QQ. On top of that, 2 goals, all the Kleptomancy gold sacks. Top though, like last game, are looking to secure themselves their first dragon. This time at 16 minutes, going to be another Cloud Drake, so going to actually let an Infernal Drake spawn up again. So if they're able to get that, that does help them in their quest to get back into this game, but still a lot of work to do.
Around 10 minutes earlier than the previous game, we're going to see the first dragons. It's definitely a start to see them playing more objective-based play, but it's going to be going over the top. And this should help, because it's definitely where you start falling down when you are in this situation. Being forced to rotate around the map reactively to your opponent and having that little bit of extra movement speed could save you a couple hundred tower damage in the overall.
Yuki up toward that top lane, just going to clear out some minions for himself. Get him some gold back in that pocket. And we were wondering, you know, what kind of build would come out from the Kassadin. And you know what? I see an Abyssal Mess, and it looks like it's that tanky Kassadin. Doomby, he's starting to spread the, I don't know, would you call it a virus of this build? Because people have started to respect this.
I mean, the Abyssal Mask first, you can understand into Azir. He needs the magic resistance, and it gives him bonus damage anyway. But it's the second item that's the most key. And it looks like he's going to be going for the Lichbane second item. I don't think it's going to be the Luden's Echo, because he's picked up the Aether.
That'd be gutsy. That'd be gutsy.
Yeah, so I think it's going to be the Luden's Echo, and it's almost certainly not the Ardent Sensor. Sorry, not the Luden's Echo or the Ardent Sensor here.
All right, we're getting it's all right. We're messing up our items a little. I was wondering what you were saying there.
Yeah, but the thing is, the Ardent Sensor builds out of the Aether Wisp as well, is my point. And it's definitely not that.
Yeah. Ardent
Sensor
Kassadin.
Yeah, it's not the Luden's Echo. Yeah, well, yeah, you just run the old rune where it was Font of Life.
Yeah, you get the slow, and that's how you get the shield. Yeah.
Yeah. You get the heals onto your allies. Procs Ardent Sensor on them. It's how Ashe support works.
Yeah, no, that's also how my solo queue in silver works. So I'm not unused to those kind of builds. I think LGD though, They're looking to keep up this pressure, looking to try and get a little bit of chip damage down onto the second tier tower. A minute 40 until the Baron spawns. They're in a nice, both teams actually did get the first tier tower in mid, so the mid section of this map has opened up, but LGD have been able to move up their ward line, especially toward that top side of the jungle, and top are kind of now having to play reactively in this case to this side lane pressure of LGD, and this doesn't give them really the opportunity to come up there. Now it looks like QQ is actually going to try and make his way up to get some vision for themselves.
It's really been well done by LGD to push their vision so deep and set up for this Baron preemptively. You can see where they're going to be playing around next from the vision they've got down. They had the vision around the that sort of top side jungle entrance now, just above the river. And that's going to be that they're looking to try and push the mid wave deep, push the top wave out, and then set up for that Baron in just 45 seconds time.
Raptor is clearing out there. There's also going to be that Infernal Drake like we mentioned earlier. Zemi's just going to clear out some of that dead ward vision, the zombie wards. No. It's interesting, you know, they got zombie wards, kind of an undead infestation from the wards. It's kind of creepy sometimes. They got little eyes. Makes you wonder, hey, do the wards have souls?
I mean, I hope they don't, because I don't want to think about somebody killing my little penguin ward that I use every single time.
But they have like little eyes when they come back. It's really creepy, those things. And you know what I'd be spooked by? The Jarvan jumping over the wall and putting a Cataclysm right on top of me. That's going to force both the Ghost and Flash out of Janu, so you won't have any mobility other than that pool to try and escape from any aggression from top for the next couple minutes.
And he uses that pull almost immediately to be able to get away from the Baron pressuring him out. But that is going to give them the ability to just back off, having pushed the enemy out, and it's going to buy them time to be able to try and remove some of the vision, try and get back control, and it gives Moyu the ability to try and siege up this bot lane tower. He's got a big chunk out of it already.
Yeah. Gonna clear out some of those minions. Janu is coming around to that lane and should be able to wave clear this before it goes down. Up in top lane though, Yuki still playing aggressively into this Kassadin. This is kind of a weird time. Most of the time we do see the Kassadin do very well into the Azir, but it seems like it got flipped on our heads this time around, as the Azir has been doing just perfectly fine with the assistance of the rest of his team. True Shot Barrage going to try and get some chip damage on down and maybe try and clear out some minions. Now the setup becomes now at 21 minutes toward the Baron. What are teams going to prioritize? You can see LGD already having so much vision down. They do give up this second tier tower in bot lane. This does give some priority for top here. If they're able to just keep up this pressure, LGD, if they focus too much toward this Baron, they could lose out, and we would have a repeat of what we saw last game, just on a different kind of scenario. Instead of LGD going for the back door, it could be top.
It's a complete role reversal from the previous game, as LGD just seemed firmly in the driver's seat without really that much more of a gold lead than they had previously. And they're looking to set up around this Baron, do the same thing that top did to them last game, except they'll be hoping to catch out more than a Tom Kench with their engage.
See, look at all those zombie wards. They just, like, fill up the entire... Whoa, flash forward, though, coming out from Cat Imp. He's going to get contained, but the Emperor's Divide is going to be able to peel off the Jarvan. A double kill coming out from Yuki. And LGD, they take down the jungle. They take down the support. A major disengage and healing tool for Top Sports, and that should allow them to easily take the Baron.
Completely free Baron for them now. Without the jungle there, without any real threats there, they can pick that one up. And they're looking to head directly over to the Dragon, where they see 3 members are heading. And they can take that 3v5 happily.
Oh, look at that, the Infernal Drake on top, and they're just going to roam on down. So top, they lose out a bit here after being very aggressive toward Imp, trying to catch out that Ezreal, but that Arcane Shift gives them a lot of safety, and just like that, we get another look at exactly what happened.
And yeah, it's really just Jarvan jumping in really deep. Everybody tried to follow him. They got baited into their own engage and got really punished for it. And they lose the jungler almost instantly. And that's going to mean the Baron goes over without being able to be contested.
On top of that, that's an Infernal Drake. So like that, LGD in about 2 minutes just open up the gold lead by 6,000. Now the question becomes, how do they look to try and use this advantage? Are they going to try and look for a siege, look for a little bit more picks, or are they going to wait this one out? And that might give Top a bit of a time to farm this out. Look at this, though. Lots of pings coming into that mid lane. Looking to be aggressive, maybe trying to siege on down in toward that inhibitor in mid.
And yeah, with them being able to push so deep with this Baron buff, with the Azir on top of the Ezreal, they can chunk through this one so quickly. That's going to be the inhibitor tower gone.
Just like that, LGD now crack open the base, and the inhibitor going to be following up quite next, and just like that, Imp will get the secure on it, and 23.5 minutes, Top have lost their first inhibitor. LGD now with an 8,000 gold lead, looking to try and push down possibly bot lane. They're starting to group up toward. Actually, it looks like they're just trying to catch out the lone Cassidy. You see Guang going all the way down there just to clear out the wave, so making the smart play. But will he be able to escape with his life? And during this chase, what can Top actually gain around the map? You have 5 members of LGD committed toward this bot lane just for the lone Cassidy. He's just wasting as much time as possible. The knockup's going to follow on through. The damage from the Azir soldiers actually using the flash avoids the Emperor's Divide, but cannot avoid the Rek'Sai ultimate. Zami will pick up the kill. Top, they were able to get some vision up top lane, but that's pretty much it.
Yeah, with all the waves pushed in so deep and the super minions pushing it down mid lane, they had no way to take any other kind of objectives off the back of that pressure. Even though Kassadin bought so much time for them, the time only was until Baron buff wears out. It was just 30 seconds extra off of the Baron buff.
And now the inhibitor tower in bot lane gonna get sieged on down, and the inhibitor now exposed. Will Top make the decision to try and defend it? He got the Gnar in top lane. He's not gonna be there to try and do anything, just gonna try and at least secure a tower in their favor. It looks like Top have decided, hey, you know what, we're just gonna aim to try and turtle this one out, try and survive the super minions for the next couple minutes, and hopefully we can try and turn around a fight later on when it comes to another Baron or possibly this Infernal Drake going to be spawning soon.
But you have to get pretty much a perfect fight. You have to wait so long to hit the item spikes you need just to be able to assassinate somebody. And Gong, he needs to get on top of either Yuki or Jinnu and remove them from the fight instantly. And it's so hard to do that when you see now that Yuki's got a Banshee's Veil for himself. When you see he's got the health from the Liandry's Torment. It's just really hard for Top to find a way back into this game.
Coming up there, it's going to be Guang just looking to take off the Scuttle Crab, it seems. Instead, going to opt out of it. Does spot out that zombie ward, so going to roam up toward that top lane. Still, 2 inhibitors down in the mid and bot lanes for Top. What are they going to be able to do? Looks like they're starting to group up toward this inhibitor tower. LGD, though, they see this and actually looking to maybe do a split push, a 1-4 perhaps, to try and spread Top thin and get some more damage onto the Nexus Tower. Actually, instead of that, they just say, hey, we can group up as 5 and threaten a dive if Top does not respect us. True Shot Barrage comes out for Imp, trying to get some damage. That's going to force the flash out of the Varus from just the Rek'Sai tunnel. Karn waiting on this. He's not going to use the flag drag just yet. Winter Spike does not connect, but the rest of the team goes on forward. It looks like LGD, they just want to end this one. Jinhoon just absolutely obliterates the Varus. And that's going to be the 3rd inhibitor of the game taken by LGD. Now Top, they have to decide, hey, are we going to try and defend this? It doesn't look like they even have the opportunity. The Sorcerer Elixir actually picked up by Imp through the Kleptomancy allows them just to shred down the towers. And in dominating fashion in Game 2, LGD make the return and force the series to Game 3.
And without the composition with the Cogmore and the shielding mid laner for support, Top don't really find a way to replicate their successes from Game 1. And off of that bot lane pressure early on from AB, it's an easy win for LGD.
Just like that, LGD are able to tie us back up. Now the question now becomes, this series is tied 1-1. So me and Sin kind of have a dilemma, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to check exactly when the Snake series is going to start.
11 minutes, 40 seconds.
Says 11 minutes and 40 seconds, and that is actually on their actual official stream, correct? It's now a separate stream?
Yeah, it's now a separate stream, and it's the timer says 11 minutes 30 seconds till the broadcast starts. Only another 5 minutes on top of that, so it's pretty much 15 minutes until we're going to get into pick and ban for the series of Snake versus Billy for Game 1 of that. And this series is going to Game 3, so we're either going to miss Game 1 of the other series or Game 3 of this series.
So kind of decision by you guys in the chat. We were looking forward to the Snake series, and that was kind of our main focus of that one, because that is your battle for the top of the West Division of the LPL. The winner there is going to claim the top spot because both teams are tied at a 3-1 record. So it's kind of up to you guys. Make sure to leave your thoughts in the chat. What series do you want to see us? We'd like to finish off this series, but I'd like to do a full series of the Snake series. So we're going to take a couple minutes to try and sort ourselves out. We'll make a decision by the time one of these games will start. So we will be right back, and hopefully we can sort something out. And before we go away, I've been informed there's actually an illegal restream of my channel on YouTube. You guys over on the US esports stream, do note that this is actually a pirated stream from OPL Casting on Twitch and 1% Legit on YouTube. I caught ya. Don't try that, bud. Either way, thank you guys for tuning on in. I hope you come to our official channel. We got a lot more viewers and a lot more people in the chat. Yeah, we'll be back in a little bit.
My time is close to coming. Do I stand still or try to fight? Follow me into the sky. Let's hold our breath till we die. I just wish it was for something. Follow me, follow me. We can take this city on. Follow me, follow me. This is what you're waiting for. 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 Follow me, follow me. This is what you're waiting for. Follow me, follow me. My eyes are close to shutting. This is the turning point tonight. Follow me into the sky. I'm glad these clouds are so high. I'm not jumping off of nothing. Follow me, follow me. I can change forevermore. Follow me, follow me.
Alright, so from the looks of it, guys, we will be switching on over to the Snake series. I will be putting a link in the chat for the rest of this stream on the LPL official site as well as on panda.tv, so do stick around. I'll put that into the chat for you guys. Actually, Magical might be able to do that for me as we get set. Sorry about this, guys. Unfortunately, Top, you know, they were able to get that upset, but I think LGD will be able to take this series overall. We are going to focus on our main matchup being the Billy Gaming versus Snake Esports, so do stay tuned as we switch on over.
All in all, there's really nowhere else for I stayed awake last night, 'cause I couldn't close my eyes and see you another night. I drove myself crazy thinking you'd take my wildest dreams and tear them all to the ground. So I tried to create a decoy world for you to destroy in my mind. You can stay and believe you're tearing me apart while I'm coming to life, while I'm coming to life. You can stay and believe you're tearing me apart while I'm coming to life, while I'm coming to life. I couldn't keep the secret. You found my darkest demons and brought them out in the light. So I ran to all the preachers, despite having every reason to shut down and mobilize. So I prayed to the gods for one last saving grace against all odds. And I built an escape using all my energy just to come back to life, back to life.
find myself. I can't find myself. Can't find myself. Can't find myself. I can't find myself. I can't find myself. Can't find myself. Can't find myself. Can't find myself. I can't find myself. I can't find myself. Go.
Building a fortress, and we thought it was stronger, keeping your distance. I thought we were better. We can try to just hide from the pain by building our castle. We can build them again.
And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to our featured matchup of tonight. Billy Gaming taking on Snake Esports. Winner here of this series will claim top spot in the West LPL Conference. This is a huge matchup this early into the season. I'm Alexander Opolar Shambo. Joining me for the cast is Stuart Sin McLeod. Sin, are you hyped for this as I am?
This is going to be an exciting match, and both teams coming in 3-1, looking to make themselves that top dog in the West. And really, the West's such a tight region right now, back and forth, with EDG just sitting one game behind both of these as well. It's going to be interesting to see who can pit people to the post for those playoff spots.
And we got plenty of featured player matchups we want to look at, but we'll get into that into the game. We're already into the champion select. I'm going to say I'm jelly of all those coaches with their team pins. I think that is so cool. I got my own mastery pin sometimes for the casting outfit, but nonetheless, BLG going to be starting on the blue side, Snake Esports on the right, and BLG already opening up the bans here with the Kench and the Jarvan. Meanwhile, Snake going to ban away the Kog'Maw. We saw how threatening that could be in Game 1 of the LGD series, and the Camille getting banned away from Amazing J.
The Rise being taken away by Billy. So this is a really important pick for Snake. It's been both played by Flandre and Gogo to great effect. We saw last week the pentakill from Gogo on that pick, and Flandre having gone 7-1 and 4-0 in the top lane on that pick as well in certain counter matchups like against the safe pick of Maokai. It's been really interesting to see, and having that as a flex pick, a little bit too much strength there in the minds of Billy, so they're going to take that one away.
And immediately off the bat, Athena, he's going to get his Azir. And we kind of wanted to talk here was, you know, Athena on this Azir can be threatening. But what's also threatening is Flandre's Vladimir. Snake's going to instantly lock that one in. Still could be flexed into the mid lane, but Flandre has shown a lot of power on this pick up and top.
Now I just want to see like an instant Zoe rotation here, Zoe Braum or something like that on the next rotation. But like with the Sejuani coming in here, you can see they're going for a more team fight oriented composition, scaling into those mid game fights, and you can see potentially a Malzahar coming in here for Gogo to try and catch out the Azir and be able to make these plays around the level 6 mark. That press R to win idea.
Snake gonna lock in the Sejuani. And this has kind of been a crucial one for SFM. He has to make an early impact on the map for Snake to really find the success we've been looking for. If Snake actually falters in the early game, we've seen them have issues, and Sejuani could be one of those abusable jungles. Luckily, the Jarvan was banned out by BLG, so they don't have to worry with that pick, but still plenty on the table. For BLG, though, Jin Zhao is going to get himself his Varus, and it looks like Road hovering that turret, going for that invulnerability style of team fight, looking to clear up some mistakes on that end, and really just aiming for that mid to late game already.
So now they've got the third pick, and then the bans. You can imagine they're going to target out SKS here, maybe ban like the likes of Kha'Zix away, maybe some other junglers that are fairly high priority at the minute, like the Jarvan, as you said, which is already off the board, just to try and put him on something much lower priority. It'll be interesting to see how they try and pressure him out. But speaking of pressuring out, picking the Cassiopeia in the mid lane to be able to pressure out Athena here. I like this because it gives you that much more catch potential. So it means he can't just use the soldiers to dash away instantly. You throw down that miasma, you catch him in place, and you chase him down.
And you can see that pick rate for games and 100% win rate is often taken into the Azir. It's seen kind of right now as a counter pick because it can just abuse him so early into the matchup. That does open up Snake, though, here to the possibility of some early jungle pressure from BLG if they decide to try and focus that. Snake, though, already looking to target that. It's going to be the Zac banned away in response by BLG. Crystal, he's not going to have that Vayne. He even mentioned, actually, every time Crystal has picked the Vayne, he actually has a 100% win rate on the champion alone.
Yeah, similar to the Cassiopeia pick here. 4 games, 100% win rate. But what I want to think about now is that the fact that this is a Cassiopeia here, yeah? This is... Well, we don't see Cassiopeia all that often, but they've changed her recently on 8.2 for the minion aggro changes. Whenever you use your E on somebody, you do draw minion aggro. But this is not the case. We're playing on 8.1 here, so she can pressure out Azir. She can walk past the enemy minions and throw E's at him. As long as she's not auto-attacking him, she's not drawing that minion aggro. So she can allow the wave to push towards her, deny minions, and trade so effectively.
Lennar being banned out. On top of that, it's going to be the Braum being the last ban here by BLG. So Snake, what do they want to try and open up? What do they want to secure first, and what do they want to show last? The support seeming to be the first option here as they're going through the ADC picks. Crystal has played a decent amount of the Kalista, the Ezreal, even in one game, I believe, on Caitlyn. Instead, though, it looks like this could be a flex now. It's going to be that Ornn support.
Okay, so trying to deny that one away, perhaps, to have that scaling team fight pick to be able to become a big late game tank and enable Amazing J so much more. So it'd be interesting. That's a rather interesting pick here. But putting it in the support role, it's fairly weak in that role. You can still have a lot of picks that are very good into it. With, of course, the Taric being picked here, it just means that whenever he pops his ultimate, that's a signal. Taric goes, okay, I'm going to pop mine, and by the time the second half of the Ornn ult hits you, you're already invulnerable.
Coming on now, it's going to be that Cho'Gath locked in for Amazing J up in the top lane. So looking to go more of that tank style. Fortunately for him, going to have to go for the Righteous Glory style build if they wanted to go for a heavy engage. And rounding off this pick and ban, wow, okay, so it's going to be a Jax locked in here for the last one.
Jungle.
Jax Jungle, we've seen it a couple times, and BLG are going to go with it, it seems. Look like Snake, they've been hovering this Ezreal, going to likely lock that one on through, but an interesting turn here by BLG in the second half of the draft.
Another thing that you can say is interesting here is they picked up the Cho'Gath. This is something that Amazing J lost to against EDG. So being able to pick this one up for himself and go, okay, have a little bit of PTSD from being destroyed by this pick. Now I'm going to go onto it myself and see if I can have a similar level of success. But I really like this Jax jungle here. It's a very tanky pick that can just be a big disruptor in team fights. He has a fair amount of base damages, but you itemize into that full tank setup and just try and sit on top of the enemy carries, knowing they can't do anything to you.
Now rounding off, so Snake. We mentioned that Vladimir up in the top lane. I know some of you guys were confused by what I said there, the Vladimir being a Flandre pick. He actually hasn't played it that much in the LPL, at the least in this season. But during the Demacia Championship, he did actually have 5 games on the champion and did have some carry performances on it. A lot of the time here, it's actually banned out against them. So that's why he hasn't had the amount of games that we've you likely thought we were talking about. He only has the 1 game, only the 1 lost, but still can't be a threat. Either way, though, Snake and BLG, we're going to be loading on into game 1 here, and this is kind of our hype matchup of the night. This is the one we wanted to see, you know, which team is going to claim the top spot in their conference. For Snake, this is actually a crucial one because they already beat Edward Gaming. For BLG, they've kind of faced a little bit more of an easier schedule to begin the first 2 weeks, and now this is a real test of skill for them going against Snake. If they're able to take them on down, this could really shake up the standings, and this is pretty early just to be doing that.
If you look at the overall score lines in terms of wins and losses of every team these two teams have faced, it's currently at 7 and 9 for both teams. So they both had slightly easier schedules, but at the same time, it's Snake. They lost to FPX. They lost to a team that currently only has 1 win. And on the other side, BLG, they lost to EDG, but they beat everyone else. So it's a rather interesting situation they find themselves in, having faced so similar opponents right now.
We can load on into the rift for game 1 between Billy Gaming and Snake. And hey, you know what? The guys in the back end behind the servers, they said, hey, let's start off with an Infernal Drake. Let's make this an explosive matchup, hopefully, to say the least. Everyone's loading on in. Not going to be any crazy invades, but still, it's exciting. This is game 1. Whoever takes this series claims the top spot in their conference for the LPL. And this is crucially important because we're almost done the first round robin of the tournament so far. They're going to start facing the other conference here in the next couple of weeks, and you can see that fan vote dead even, 53-47 in favor of Snake.
One thing I always love when I see Snake play is looking at S of M here, and you can see like the 3 S's in a row. It's literally like a snake is trying to say his name. It's just fully cosplaying the role of the Snake player.
He's playing, you know, got that Cassiopeia being a slippery snake. Either way, you can see
it's the double snake. Oh my god,
it's the double snake. You know, they picked their mascot. It's like when LGD get Infernal Dragons. You know, they got their mascot supporting them on the rift, and actually, this is
Unicorns of Love with Arcade Hecarim.
Exactly. That's what they're looking for. We take a look at that player matchup, and this is kind of one we wanted to focus on because Athena is with SKS can be very hit or miss. They're kind of considered one of the weaker jungle mid lane duos when it comes to the LPL, at least from the first 2 weeks of play, and that's where BLG have found some issues is when Athena doesn't position well into these team fights. They are really relying on this Azir. I cannot understate this enough that this is a very important matchup for them and already getting some early pressure, but once that level 2 hits for the Cassiopeia, this Azir has to play far back.
And Gogo, as you're saying, it's like on the other side of it, he's not really the strongest mid lane either, has struggled, has a fairly low CSD, and it does make him look like a weaker mid laner than he is. He still puts up the good numbers in those team fights later on, but he's supplemented so effectively by having a top laner like Flandre on his team, who is brilliant at putting down that team fight damage. That's why we talk about picks like Vladimir for him being so effective, because when it comes to that team fight phase, he will show up.
Well, Scuttle gonna be secured there by SFM, and also on this Sejuani, SFM has had to make early impacts in his lane. You can already see him making the roam on down. Just gonna go ahead and invade, get some vision down perhaps for himself, and try and track SKS on that Jax. He is spotted out by a ward, so we'll have decent little vision over here up toward that top lane. They understand, hey, you're taking my Krugs, I'll take your Krugs, or maybe I'll go for a play up against Flandre instead. Flandre gets that ward down just to keep track of the jungle.
A really nice adaptation by SFM,
Oh.
though. He takes away some of the Raptors and now comes down bot.
That's a flash body slam coming on through, and that's going to be the explosive charge. Tick it away. SFM will pick up first blood as he charged on in there with the nice flash redirection. Jinjiao had nowhere to go, and Snake strike early.
Yeah, he skipped his blue. He went from red to wolves to red, and he goes and takes away some Raptors. So he's in the perfect place to set up for that gank. And they do get slowed down by the stun, but having stunned Jin Zhao at the perfect time just before they get locked down in place, he does get that frostbite and also attack off, and it's going to be chunking him down. First blood to Snake.
So Athena still in that mid lane, trying to get some pressure on down. This is actually a little bit of an interesting twist here, because usually we see the Cassiopeias really try and play aggressive into the Azir. Looks like Gao, like you mentioned, has been looking to play a little farther back. He's been kind of seen as one of the more weaker points of Snake, and maybe doesn't want to try and give an advantage early, really waiting for SFM maybe to come along into the lane and try and find a kill. Athena also going for that. He also does have 2 safety summoners. Did not take the spell book though, so has only the summon Aerie. Our thing to note here is we didn't really talk about the Ornn support for Snake in the bot lane. It's found some success, but oftentimes teams are able to abuse it. This time around, though, that early kill being picked up, it allows Snake's bot lane to play a little bit more aggressively, and we could see that kind of snowball a little bit more.
We talked about the Tristana a little bit during the last series as a pick that isn't really prioritized enough. We are going to see Crystal on it in this game. One of the guys who's considered one of the top 80 carries in China, and seeing him on a pick like this that can really pop off, can start to get those crits early on and get the resets in team fights, have a lot of success, even as an engaged champion, as we've seen in Korea recently from people like Ruler. It's definitely exciting to see, and I'm glad to see more ADCs adapting to it and picking it back up.
Athena showing some dominance, it seems, here in that mid lane, just pushing out the Cassiopeia and playing very well into the matchup early. That's usually where we expect that Cassiopeia to kind of have that all-in potential, but instead deciding to back off. Rose just going to go ahead and back. Did have that ignite. Looking to probably walk back over to lane. Good teleport. We still have that spellbook, and still in the mid lane. That's a flash. Petrifying Gaze actually coming out from Gagao, and Athena now starting to run for his life. But here comes SKS on the Jax, looking to make the assistance come through, and he's going to pick up the kill as Athena goes forward with the Emperor's Divide. He's burning down, but the poison, it just won't take him down that close. And just like that, BLG, they're able to respawn. SKS still going aggressive in that mid lane, going for the counter-strike. Not going to be able to land the stun, but SFM, he's going to try his best to try and clear out as much of this wave as possible. SKS sticking around here, both going down to below half. In the end, it looks like SKS, though, is going to respect that. Meanwhile, in bot lane, Ro did swap over to the teleport, so he did get back into lane to keep the assistance rolling for Jin Zhao. Already this lane, though, starting to fall a little bit behind in CS. Like you mentioned, this Tristana starting to show through.
And this will be the pressure from the bot laners will allow them to then move into the jungle and be able to take away that dragon nice and early on if the Sejuani is going to set up a play down here again. So all we need to do is wait for that level 6 mark to come down for the Sejuani, and then you can see really an ult dive play coming off here in the bot lane, but it's that stopwatch again, the double stopwatch bot lane. It's going to make it that much harder to dive.
SKS going ahead, clearing out his Gromp. SFM gonna take the red buff for himself. A lot of wards, though, coming out from BLG toward this top side, looking to try and protect Amazing J on this Cho'Gath. Flandre actually running the smite up in that top. Look at just clear out some of the waves a little more as he's gonna swap on back over to teleport. And you know, Spellbook, it's such a unique rune. We keep talking about this, you know, taking Smite up in the top lane. We've seen supports taking Smite to give a little bit of a better leash to their jungle. It's like playing Urfa at this point. It's just so random sometimes.
So now looking towards the top lane, I'm going to be keeping my eye on Flandre here, because he's in a rather interesting matchup. You don't really see this all that often, but it's actually a decent matchup for Cho'Gath. When you see the Vladimir coming in ready to go for that all-in engage, you just silence him in place. Then he can't pull to escape, he can't do anything, he is all based on his spells, so It just means that you have a few seconds to chunk him out and kill him before he has the ability to heal. That can be that beneficial to you. That much. It can mean that much to your team, where you can get that CC chain onto him and kill him instantly.
Gonna invade on there, get some vision for themselves, but SKS with the control wards just gonna take that back in his own jungle. Didn't even get a chance to really take a look here at the runes here. For Amazing J, of course, the Resolve tree has kind of been seen as a little bit more of a lackluster, and this is also another one. SOM, most of the time we do see the fleet footwork coming out from the Sejuanis in the jungle. This time opting into the Aftershock, so going the much more tankier route, gonna have a much slower clear. And actually that catch down in bot lane, Jin Jiao looked to get the Chains of Corruption. Gonna land the piercing arrow, but Crystal did have that stopwatch to keep him safe. SKS though, waiting on the side, just gonna clear out a ward as he was spotted out by Snake. They're gonna look to let the lane push on back as this SOM maybe looking for a play in mid. It looked like he was spotted out by that ward. Athena does have knowledge this is coming off the corner, but they are able to land the Glacial Prison as he jumped on through, and unfortunately, he cannot move because of the miasma, and just like that, Snake are able to find a kill on their mid lane here at 9.5 minutes.
He panics it and presses E before he presses Q, so the soldier doesn't move. He ends up dashing to where that is, completely into danger, and is stunned already in midair, so that absolutely the worst case scenario happens for Athena. And it's going to be the kill onto Gogo. 2 kills to 1 for Snake.
It feels bad. Got caught out there by the ultimate mid-air and was locked down by the Cassiopeia. So now maybe
it was never going to be great anyway, even if they missed the ult because he went in the wrong direction.
Yeah, you know, it didn't really matter. He kind of just went straight on, and maybe it was like, hey, maybe I could try and pick up a kill, but likely, like you mentioned, that misplays. So unfortunate turn of events, and that's kind of misplays that BLG cannot let Athena make, because he is, like we mentioned, kind of a big carry for the team, especially. So if he's getting put down early, and this Cassiopeia matchup is going to be a little bit more of a threat toward him, because she does now have the MR available through the items and is going to start stacking up a tier, so she's going to become more of a solo threat.
It's like we were saying the other day, the Abyssal Mask is so effective on mid laners, because at the point in the game where you get it, it means that it's so much harder to kill you, but you do roughly the same damage to champions. It just takes maybe 1 or 2 extra spells to clear a minion wave. So the extra safety you get from it is so worthwhile.
SFM and Gao Gao looking to invade here, try and steal away the Raptors. SKS and Athena are going to be able to easily defend that. SFM still wants to try and harass and keep SKS at bay as they're kind of doing this dance here by the Raptor pit, it seems. Instead, the Counter-Strike not going to be able to land. Do also have the rest of the team, though, of BLG trying to roam on over. Gagao is able to land the miasma. He's starting to get the Twin Fangs rolling. Athena with the soldier right on top of the Cassiopeia is going to be enough to force the disengage. As they look to try and catch out SKS, he got down to about 1/3 of health, but he should be able to get out of there just fine. Still, a lot of pressure toward the bottom side of the map, especially around this Infernal Drake. It seems like both these teams looking for just one catch, and they both have tools to easily burn this down quite fast.
But with how much SKS was chunked out and has to go back to base very quickly, we can assume that SFM wants to set up around this dragon as soon as possible. You can see the bot lane already starting to roam up.
Well, SFM gonna go ahead and start that up. The Cassiopeia also coming around the corner with that Tristana. They should be able to take this quite easily. No one's gonna be in the area to try and deny this, so Snake opening up the objective game with an Infernal Drake of their own. Gonna be a Mountain Drake spawning in a couple minutes, so might put some more pressure toward them, but that 1,000 gold lead now starting to feel a little bit more with that extra damage at their disposal. Still a close game here. Billy can easily turn this around.
And that dragon came off of the fact that they chunked out Athena. They chunked out SKS rather. They had the wave pressure over Athena. They had the wave pressure in bot lanes. Everybody was the first there, and there was no way to contest that for Billy at the time. So, rather free first dragon of the game, and the fact that it is an Infernal is only going to benefit them more for this team fighting composition that spikes pretty much around that sort of level 13 mark.
SKS still looking to farm away and actually going that Cinderhulk's not going for that kind of Devourer style build that you used to see.
It's full tank Jax.
It's full tank Jax on top of the Cho'Gath. So this is a pretty big front line coming out from BLG on top of the Taric. Might take a lot here for Snake to try and burn them down, and if the Azir can position correctly, you can just see it's really just peel for Athena so he can carry these fights. Even have a Varus that can look to disengage or hold down members with his ultimate.
That's the thing, though. Counter-Strike does not save you from a machine gun mage like Cassiopeia. It does not save you from the AoE damage of Flandre. All it's going to be doing is mitigating that damage Crystal can put down for a short duration. So that's exactly who we can assume he wants to get on top of. He wants to remove Crystal from the fight as soon as possible, and at least disrupt him enough to get him to jump away and stay out of damage range, while Jin Zhao can put down a ton of damage on the front line.
See the vision coverage toward the river. Just going to clear that out, get some zombie wards down for themselves. That's mainly what Snake is using to just litter the jungle of BLG on their red side. Maybe looking to position themselves maybe a bit aggressively, it seems, but instead just going to clear out that vision. Still just trying to track where this Jax may strike. 14 minutes, 2-1 the kill total. The thing about Snake here is they actually have kind of attained themselves a little bit more of a gold lead through the jungle and just the single kill. And look at this. They might be positioning themselves to maybe look for a dive here toward the bot lane. Road still has the ultimate on the Taric, and Crystal was whacking away at the tower, but they weren't able to take it down just yet. Athena just going to clear out some of those zombie wards that SFM was able to get on down. Still nobody making those aggressive plays, but speaking of aggression, Amazing J up in the top lane looking for the knock-up, not going to find it onto Flandre. He's able to tiptoe around that. SFM positioning himself toward this mid lane, maybe looking for a dive. This is really looking to try and wait this one out, but he was spotted out by a ward as he went for that one, so Athena's just going to play this one safe.
It does pressure him out enough, though, to give Gogo the pressure on the wave, and now in bot lane,
well, you still see Crystal and them, they want to play aggressive. No ultimates burned, but that tower is going so low. SKS is going to get stunned up here by SFM, and that's going to force them to jump over the wall. Still have Gao Gao coming around the corner, has to finish that Abyssal Mask, and the tier is stacking. Athena's just going to stop that back. We've come to this point in the game where the teams are looking to play a little bit slow. It's just waiting for that one dive. One member to really just step over the line of bounds and be caught out. And BLG, they're aware of this. Their bot lane is just looking to clear out the waves because they understand their tower is their main target from Snake here. Just how they've been positioning around the map and how SFM and the Cassiopeia have continued to try and roam down for a possible dive. Another TP by Road. They are doing all they can to prevent this from going down.
and we know that when Jin Zhao has to go back to base, he's going to be able to TP as well. So, all 4 bot laners have TP right now. This is a quadruple TP game just from the bot lane. This is incredible.
That's the thing, it's hard to do a whole lot, but the Call of the Forge God from the Ornn is going to find Road, but Crystal can't do a whole lot. He has to be a little bit careful here. Look at the damage coming on through from the Varus. That's going to be the stopwatch, and Jin Zhao flashes on forward. He'll pick up a kill of his own, and Snake, after waiting so long, tried to go aggressive, but this Varus finishes up the Rage Blade. Makes it quite difficult for them to do anything, and Road is able to delay the fight perfectly. That's a kill going on over to Billy, and it looks like they'll be able to take this Rift Herald.
Road delayed them so much, made them burn so much just onto him. But by the time Jin Zhao arrived, he was full HP, and he was ready to fight. He gets his kill, and that's going to put them back with a little bit of priority in the bot lane. It still doesn't save them completely. They're still 1k down, and their tower is on just a sliver. But being able to pick up the Rift Herald off the back of this by making the Sejuani come down to bot lane, so crucial. And just think if he managed to hold on to his ultimate tool here, how much better it would have been to use it right there.
And Road just popping that stopwatch, and Crystal, it was a little too late for him, and the stuns came on through that, force Huddy to flash, and just like that, and we can go back here into the game, actually. It looks like a dive toward the top side. SKS, he says, you know what, we really want to take this first tower. We really want to secure that extra gold for our team, but it's a little too late. As Crystal in the bot lane is able to secure it. The Rift Herald's just a little bit too late to the party. It will be a trade for 1-for-1, but Snake come out with the slight advantage by 1,500 gold.
And then the first tower gold yet again. This is another first blood here for Snake. And it's putting them in a more and more comfortable position where they don't really have to worry so much about the scaling of Billy because they know they've got the late game damage of the Vladimir. They know they've got the late game damage of the Tristana. And it's just down to whether Athena can completely outplay the entire team. or whether it's going to be just the sheer amount of tools that Snake have to win team fights that's going to be the key here.
Also, out of the question, Athena has made big plays on this Azir before. That's going to be a Mountain Drake going in favor of Snake. Another one going to be joining us. The Baron also going to be a possibility here in about a minute and a half. So we'll have to see what teams decide to go place their priority if they want to swap over that bot lane after taking the first brick tower down in bot.
So, Opal, just to keep us updated on the LGD.
Yeah, go ahead. I've been interested.
Imp is 5-0-1 on Ezreal.
Okay,
and
so
the score is 7-3. So yeah, they're pretty much gonna win that game.
I figured that LGD actually had the full advantage during that one, so I didn't think it was out of the question.
Yeah, it was surprising to see Top Sports even pick up a game, though, and you have to give them credit for how they want to be able to do that. Yeah,
that gives them a lot of morale going forward. They actually finally get themselves a game win. That was the thing they were lacking. They were 0-10 heading into today. They had negative 10 points overall in the standings.
They lost 16 games in a row in the LPL. Yeah, it's really not a great spot to be in. They don't want to break that Nahyun record from EU.
Yeah, you don't really want to. It's
what was that, 23 games without a win?
Oh, it was something along those lines. It was ugly. What is ugly, though, for Snake is they did lose their bot lane tower, so the gold is going to be shored right back up by Billy, and actually positioning themselves here. There's not a whole lot of wave clear. Flandre is going to actually pull away, and with this Jax, they can burn through this second-tier tower just like that before 20 minutes. It's going to be a pickup here by Billy. Meanwhile, in top lane, at least Snake are able to answer for one, but look at this. This squad is just going to roam on over to possibly this mid lane, maybe look for a play onto the Cassiopeia. Snake, they might sense something's going to happen. They've already positioned their support and jungle to assist if necessary.
And so it ends up being that one-for-one trade. But Billy, they've got the advantage in towers now. They've got a small advantage in tempo to be able to make plays across the map, and they've made the gold much nearer to even. So really long lane now for Flandre to exist in, and that's going to be scary when you know that SKS and Amazing J are so sticky. So you've got to be able to try and escape that. And that can be a real tough ask for Vladimir.
Position themselves. We get a quick look at those gold totals down below. Flandre actually sitting quite nicely up there with about a 1,200 gold lead through the towers and that Frost Queen's claim. Was able to get himself some nice gold per 10 and get himself some extra money into his pocket. Now has that Zhonya's also completed, so can maybe look for some aggressive plays with the Hemo Plague while going down low. You do see BLG did secure a lot of control wards from themselves, so they're going to look to try and clear out some of that vision. Baron also available for both teams, 21 minutes now. Still only a 4-kill game. Rather a slow one, and that's kind of what we were going to talk about here is against Snake, we find that teams actually find a lot of success against Snake when they do look to make the early plays and try and get them off balance. That's how FPX actually took their lone series over Snake, and that's a series that Snake, I know for sure, would love to have back. And for Billy, it just seems instead of going for that, they're convinced that they'll be able to take the late game fights in their favor, like you mentioned earlier.
It's really interesting because Snake was considered like kind of like 20 minutes of SKT team where they have such big advantages for the first 20 minutes of the game, and then once it gets past that, that's where they start to fall apart. But really, the way it's worked for them in the current meta, the way things have changed, is they get small advantages in the early to mid game without people really being able to contest them that much. And then when it comes to that team fight phase, the advantage becomes blown open massively by the small skirmishes they make, by individual picks they're able to get. And so it's really changed who they are as a team and where their weaknesses. And as you say, if you're able to contest them in those early games, their late game decision making isn't quite up to scratch sometimes.
Well, SFM might be caught out here. SKS does find them, but the turnaround might be coming on through. Crystal on the edge of the fight. Glacial Prison was used by the Sejuani. Looks like Billy, though, are going to be able to disengage. Gotta be a bit careful now. The Cassiopeia stepping up, maybe looking for a Petrifying Gaze, is going to put down that Miasma, but immediately the chain of corruption comes out from Jin Jiao. That is going to be the Petrifying Gaze popped by Gagao to try and just disengage. Billy still feeling strong. Those are a lot of key ultimates down for Snake.
Yeah, but Snake still do have the mid lane priority right now, so they're able to push in and back off and have the better timers right now. With Gogo able to get back to base, already his ultimate about a quarter off of cooldown, not going to have to worry him too much. But right now, it's really just a case of waiting for that phase of the game where we're going to see an all-in 5v5 team fight. And it can't be all too long away when you're seeing the Ornn is teleporting in to just get extra Baron vision.
Yeah, with the spell book, Rune gonna have that teleport available, looking to play aggressively, and
This is incredible, though. Just seeing how the meta's developed in China to the point where you see double teleport supports.
And I like China because oftentimes we see teams make aggressive plays and they look to try and use stopwatch as an aggressive tool. BLG this time around haven't really done that. They've been sitting a little bit back. They're saying, hey, our win condition is based off Athena's performance. Let's try and not nerf it early on and make it a difficult task to try and get back into this game. Instead, looking to just play it smart, farm up, scale up to their items, and even Amazing J on the Cho'Gath has been able to just go ahead and freely just stack up his ultimate stacks, likely at 6 now, so he's going to want to start finding some champions to chomp on down. But he's going to be a pretty disgusting frontline tank. That's all his health bar at the moment. You saw almost 3,500. That's only with 3 items. He still has plenty of slots available to keep on getting more and more tanky.
So, Opal, just like to say that LGD won Game 3. So
hey, there you go, guys.
Series, and that record's going to extend to 3-2. In the so they're going to tie themselves with Team WE at the minute.
And that's pretty good for themselves. So LGD continue on their win streak at home. That's a pretty big one. So now the question becomes, who's going to be the top of the West? Billy or Snake Esports? As we're just nearing this 25-minute mark, if you guys are just joining us from the other series. So you see Billy looking to position themselves around this dragon yet again. They haven't been able to secure any. That's been mainly controlled by Snake. Instead, positioning themselves as a unit, but it just turns again into the stalemate, it seems. Nobody wants to be the first one to overstep their bounds and get caught out by the enemy team. Looks like Snake, they do have the inside track towards this dragon, and they do have the tools to burn it on down. Looks like they're going to go ahead and start it. Will Billy try to answer? SKS on the front line. That's going to be a teleport coming in from Amazing J. Chain of Corruption lands, and that's going to be secured by SFM. Call the Forge God, going to land onto 4 members. Road has to flash away. Flandre into the back line, pulls, and just like that, no, my stream, are you serious? Right now, oh my goodness, I am so pissed. That's the first pause we've had tonight.
Jumping over the wall.
Crystal jumped. Oh, are you serious? We didn't get to see this. Oh, okay.
He reset, jumped over the wall directly onto the Cho'Gath and assassinated him. Then reset over the wall again to jump onto the Varus, kills him as well. That's a 4-for-0 team fight, and now they're heading directly onto the Varus.
Oh my goodness.
They've got double mountain dragons. They've got the Cassiopeia. They've got a full health Sejuani. This is going to be near free, but SKS is still alive and can try and sneak his way in.
Well, we're going to have to wait for a replay to see exactly what happened on my end. I'm sorry, guys. That's the first time the stream has done that tonight. And of course, it's after about a 10-minute wait between Snake and Billy. We get another look here and actually see what happened during the fight. I'm just going to go ahead and call this. You had Huddy on the side. That Call of the Forge God was able to land onto 4 members, and that's when we kind of disconnected. We didn't see Flandre. He went on in. He got the Hemoplague onto 2 members. SOVM went on in. Athena gets obliterated. That is the win condition for Snake. You take down Athena, Billy can just not take this game any longer, and like you mentioned, Crystal just went on an assassination spree.
Yeah, it gets over the wall and then just has to get the second jump over onto Jin Zhao, and that's going to be an easy couple kills for him. But really nice big lead for Snake now. They've got the Baron, they've got the extra dragon as well, so they're sitting at Infernal Double Mountain. This is a perfect situation for a Tristana where she wants to be able to chunk out towers that quickly, and having the Infinity Edge, 2 crit items on top of that, now looking to be from the BF sword going for the GA, it's only more beneficial. And Flandre, though, being collapsed on in the bottom side.
Yeah, Flandre looking to run for his life, but Snake, like we mentioned, secured that Baron off that fight, and now, after that Sneaky Snake, they're able to just snowball out of control. This is the issue for Billy. They have to try and slow down this game somehow, but Snake, when they get advantages, they usually look to close it out fast. And you see all the members rotating over, and Tristana, when she's left alone, could just instantly take down that tower. Like you saw, 5 auto attacks is all she needs with the explosive charge, and really there's nothing you're going to be able to do to stop this. Snake sitting now at an 8,000 gold lead with the double mountains, with the Infernal, and with the Baron, going to look to start sieging onto these inhibitor towers.
It was with that failed collapse onto Flandre where Athena went down to the bot side. They made a two-man play onto him, and they burned Ghost in trade for 2 towers. 3 towers in the end, as the third tower was picked up as that mid lane tier 2. So it's not really worth it, as Vladimir's still able to continue pushing in the side lane, doesn't feel any more at risk, and still has that Frost Queen's claim to be able to help disengage himself.
You got to see that swing of gold, 3,000 ahead for the Vladimir over Amazing J. But look at this, you can see the fight. Billy want to try and aim for it. Flandre's into his pool, the knockup comes on down, but SKS, he gets taken down. Amazing J has to pop his Gargoyle Stone Plate pretty early into that fight, doesn't have that available. SFM still has his ultimate. Snake, though playing passively it seems, are going to wait for the wave to surge on forward and look to take the inhibitor tower, and likely the inhibitor to follow, as Snake crack open Billy Gaming's base at 29 minutes. Amazing J, he's looking to try and catch out Crystal. He's not going to find it, and this allows the rest of the team just to rotate up into that mid lane and take another tower. And if Jin Jiao, if you're not careful, you might just get taken down yourself. That's going to be the Targ ultimate coming on through, but it's a little too late. Athena gets knocked up, and it looks like Snake, they said, we've had enough of this game. We're looking to close it. Crystal looking to just jump on over with the rocket jump, not able to finish Athena. Athena is still alive, but 3 members are taken down on Billy.
And now they're just going to take down this mid lane inhibitor tower. It's barely on any HP. Now we'll get the second inhibitor down, and it's only a matter of time before the game ends. Amazing J still down for 40 seconds. The bot lane still down for 20 seconds each.
Athena, he gets just jumped on by Flandre, the Hemo Plague ticking. Crystal is able to take down the tower, and he just gets rid of SKS trying to defend this. Athena, now against the full roster of Snake, has to juke everything out. Here comes Jin Jiao. It's going to be a chain of corruptions onto the Cassiopeia, but you can see all the members of Snake, they're just committing onto the Nexus. Athena, is he able to hold this? It won't happen. Snake, go ahead and take game 1.
And we said it was that team fighting composition. We said it was when the Vladimir would come online, when they could force these 5-man fights, that it would blow up for Snake. That is exactly what happened. The moment that dragon fight happens, they bait them in to fight over the Infernal Dragon, and they turn on them instantly. Flandre was able to get a big ultimate, a big amount of AoE damage down onto multiple members. They chunk them out and they win the fight. And that just instantly allows them to go onto Baron. From there, the game was just cut and dry, cut and paste, the same as you see every week in LCK, just really clean macro play.
And for them, it was a slow early game, but unfortunately, Billy, they just weren't able to hold on. You even saw Athena. Now it's kind of the win condition there. You can just see right when that dragon fight hit, boom, that gold lead just surges on over to Snake. And on top of that, you can also see the damage charts coming out for Flandre and Crystal, just looking to carry the team. Athena wasn't even able to pop off too much. It was just, overall, you guys didn't listen to us. Flandre on this Vladimir can be just a giant threat if left alone and left to scale. And if he finds those good fights, he can just clean up the team. And Crystal, on that Tristana with the resets, you can't be escaping away from that rocket jump.
So Gogo really works as this more utility-based zone control mid laner who doesn't really need to put down a ton of damage because you have the Vladimir in the top lane as this big AoE team fighter. You have the Tristana for the single target damage for that burst. And together they end up making this really great team composition with so much peel, so much protection. And just by the time they have an engage, it's already too late for Billy to do anything about. And Athena just got pressured out so well by the Sejuani that game. You got to think, like, how strong is Nazir normally in these sort of games? He didn't have any impact until, say, the 20-minute mark.
Well, with that, guys, we're going to go ahead and send it off to a quick break here. And when we come back, it's going to be Game 2 between Billy Gaming and Snake Esports. Stay tuned.
in the dark, where with me. No, I'm never going home again. We're like animals in the dark. Where we live, I make pretend. We're lost forever. We're lost forever. We're lost forever. We're like animals in the dark. No, I'm never going home again. We're like animals in the dark. Where we live, I make pretend. Let's get lost forever. We're like animals in the dark.
Anybody out there? Does anyone read me? There's something out there.
Why should we stay here when we could run free? Who would we be if you weren't with me? No, I'm never going home again. We're like animals in the dark. Where we live, I make pretend. We're lost forever. We're lost forever. We're lost forever. We're lost forever. We're like animals in the dark. We're like animals in the dark. We're like animals in the dark.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for Game 2 between Snake Esports and Billy Gaming. I'm Alexander Opolar Shambo. Joining me is Stuart Sin McLeod. And Sin, it was a slow game, but then Snake, they finally took that fight, and it just blew wide open.
They were just waiting for that 5v5 fight. They had the compositional advantage, so that they just needed to play into their composition, and they did just that. And this new style of Snake that we're not really used to seeing, playing for those later game team fights, but it's working out for them.
Well, we're already into our second pick and ban phase, so let's go ahead and get that onto the screen for you guys. As you guys can see, Snake on your blue side to start things off. Meanwhile, Billy going to be on the red, and coming out of the bans, we already do see that Kog'Maw, like we saw earlier in the night, can be disgusting. The Camille up in the top lane to try and go against Amazing J. Meanwhile, Billy gonna get rid of that Jarvan, and of course the Rise.
As we mentioned last game, the Rise is very important to take away from both Flandre and Gogo, so after last game, I think you have to think about is Gogo just going to pick up the Azir for himself? And then he's going to have that zone controlling mid laner who has a lot of playmaking potential, and then you can still have the Vladimir in the top lane. You can still have an AD carry like Tristana, and the composition works almost exactly the same, except the mage you have for zone control is far superior at that job.
Coming
and then
on.
they ban Azir themselves. And
Yeah.
Screw my prediction over. So, oh well, I guess Gogo doesn't play it.
No, unfortunately, it's just going to be that Azir getting banned away. And I like this decision by Snake because that's kind of the big champion for Athena. That's where he makes the big impacts. And instead of even giving the opportunity for him to get, out of control, instead they just ban it away. And a lot of priority is going to be onto this Vlad for Snake to start things off.
So the main problem I had with Billy's game plan last game is they had a composition. They had a few strong picks like the Cho'Gath, the Varus, and the Jax, and the Azir, and it was just like, okay, yeah, these picks are all strong in their own right, but what's your idea for a team composition? What does that look like? How do you win team fights? And so they'd have to they need more CC. You can't just go, a Jax is the only CC we have, and that's the way we're going to allow us to constantly chip away at the opponents. So having a Sejuani instantly locked in, getting something with significantly more CC, is very important to making sure that composition works.
So following up, Amazing J is going to have that Gangplank likely up into the top lane in response to the Vladimir. Can still see that being flexed into the mid lane, so we're not 100% sure. Snake, though, this be an interesting one. Hovering the Cane, I wasn't going to say it was going to be likely. Instead, going to something a little bit more what we're expecting. SFM has been one to actually show off the Zac multiple times, so wouldn't be out of the question for him to lock that one in. Really looking for those team fights, trying to bring some of these squishy members even closer to the Vladimir for that Hemo Plague.
Yeah, the main strength of the Zac is that when you land the knock-up on somebody with your E, you have the timing to be able to charge up your ultimate enough to pull them back in before the knock-up ends. So they have no time to react unless they QSS flash. So it requires them to use so many resources just to get out of your E, never mind your ultimate.
And now for their last pickup, going to be aiming for the support role as that gets picked up. So Billy, what do they want to try here? Do they want to try and at least answer all the roles, try and get a support for themselves? Looks like they're already hovering at it instead of not putting priority onto a ADC and don't want to get banned out here in the second rotation.
So with these three picks, you can see the synergy instantly. All three of them are based around diving. So you can see the Vladimir, the Zac, and the Tarik. They're all based around being able to get hard in on the backline and be safe. So why they're picking the Janna is to be able to try and disengage that. To be able to knock away the Zac, because Janna, really, really good into Zac. You can knock him up with the Tornado, you can knock him back with the Monsoon, and it stops him being able to get on the backline anywhere near as efficiently. So you have to get the E from out of vision without her predicting it, and then have her not be able to ult you in time after you come onto her screen.
Well, their next ban going to be banning out that Jace, trying to eliminate some of the options for Snake, as Snake are taking their time with their bans. Going to ban out that Malzahar. That's been kind of the go-to after the Rise and the Azir once they get banned out. So just trying to go down that tier list, maybe try and target Athena a bit more and put him on something a little bit uncomfortable.
So he was known to switch to the Corki in this situation, where he just tries to go for that crit-based mid laner who has a lot of scaling into late game fights. And we could see him potentially do that again, worst case scenario, because it's a fairly safe mid laner. You've got the Valkyrie for safety, you've got the package for those team fights. So, and you've got a decent amount of wave clears. It's just a case of waiting for the pick to come through, and we can see what style Billy wants to play right now, because you can see the scaling of the Gangplank, but you need other things to be able to ensure he will scale for one, and other things that aren't too early game based and will still be able to provide damage alongside the Gangplank.
You can see Billy. It looks like they're putting priority for the ADC pickup. Don't want to be left too far down into the draft, as the Kassadin was banned out by Snake and the Callista banned out lastly by Billy. So going to give the counter pick fully to Athena in the mid lane. Now Snake, what do they want to do to try and round out this comp? They already have the ability to dive. Who do they want to try and get the kills onto now? Crystal played some mean Ezreal, but that Draven.
They need a self-sufficient ADC who can survive while so many members are diving. Because if you don't have something that has some safety, then while you see the Zac and the Vladimir diving the backline, say somebody flanks you, how are you going to get away? You have no peel, you have no one left. You need to be able to have at least an escape, and Ezreal provides that.
So gonna have that way to juke on out. I might have to refresh our stream on our end as we're starting to get some pauses coming on through. Might be the feed, might not be. Either way, what is Snake gonna do to try and round out the comp? Where are they gonna show this Vladimir? Looks like it's going up into that top lane. It wouldn't be out of the question for the Orianna to come through for Snake. Really looking for those team fights. They have the ball delivery system available with the Zac, so this is gonna be a nasty fight coming out from Snake, and that's kind of targeting what Billy often finds success in.
Yeah, it's interesting to see how this will work out for them with the ability to pressure out the enemy with the idea of just Zac sitting around a corner. Will they be able to step up and contest a wave? Or will they have to concede so much pressure if they aren't able to put the vision down? We saw Billy, they struggled getting the vision in the right places over the last game, even when they were even with Snake, and when they fell behind, it was disastrous. So if Snake get an early game advantage and start getting that vision pressure for themselves, I can imagine SFM is going to get so many picks for the side of Snake.
With Athena on the Galio, can actually interrupt some of that diving potential, perhaps, from Snake with that ultimate on top of one of the squishies, give some damage reduction. And Sin, I know you're going to hate me, but it looks like I'm going to have to restart on my end because we are just having a little too many pauses that I'm comfortable with. We don't want a major team fight just disappearing in front of us like we did last time around. Going to be at 10 seconds quite shortly here onto the victim ban. Oh, it's just getting some stuttering issues, it seems, tonight. It was good the entire night, but it just had to decide, you know what, maybe this last game, perhaps Snake are going to be able to close it out.
And so, yeah, the coaches shake hands, but we've got to think here, what is the aim of both of these competitions? Because you can see the diving composition where they want to be able to remove the key carries from the backline with Zac, and yeah,
that is something.
See, there's a few of these.
That is something right there. Oh my.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
It's definitely something. I'm not sure what, but
I can see
I don't
why.
think I want to know what.
I think the LPL team said it the best with their with what they call the culture shock series they just put out. I can understand that phrase, and it looks like we're gonna have to maybe perhaps bump down our quality just a little bit. It looks like we're still having issues. I'll try and sort that in on my end, guys, but we'll be getting into the match quite shortly, it seems, as we get to see more of that fan art, that beautiful, beautiful, confusing fan art. As I can see the rift right now, we're going to load on in for Game 2 between BLG and Snake Esports.
And so now, as we load into the rift, I have to start looking at the play of the players, because we looked at the compositions enough here. We can talk about the idea that they want to have this big AoE team fight onto the enemy backline, but at the same time, it's really these skirmishes that Billy want to find for themselves in the mid game. And the Gangplank doesn't really fit into this necessarily, but look at the rest of the picks. You've got the Galio, able to collapse very easily once he's got level 6, onto a bot lane fight. You've got the Sejuani, who wants to be playing around that level 6 mark to be able to stun people and get these plays going. So.
Yeah, a little bit of an early invade here as my screen just jumped, and I'm going to just turn down the quality here, guys, because it looks like we're just having issues. It wouldn't be an LPL.
SPS gets chunked low, really low by Flandre and SFM. So SFM just walks into his jungle, sits in the brush, waits for him to walk in, and then punches him in the face a lot.
You know, it's a pretty rude thing that Blob of Glob could due to a poor Sejuani, I guess. Sorry, I'm just trying to sort this out. There we go. We got Crystal and Hoodie even trying to maybe position themselves a little more safety. As Road actually made his way on over into the mid lane. They might be looking for an early play here in mid on Gagao.
It's interesting that they would be sitting up there for this long, but it means they're going to lose some pressure on this level 1 bot lane. And Ezreal is down there. I think what she was waiting for is generally you'll see an Ezreal try and wait around that blue buff nowadays and try and steal it away with a Q. If somebody gets a little bit too antsy on the smite, they need to smite early for health, for example, you can try and steal it away at the last second. But with Janus sitting there, you would be able to potentially have the collapse. as SOFM going low here to the camps, but
He's trying to do both of them at the same time with the Zac. He got that AoE. He's doing pretty
Yeah.
fine there. A little risky, but he's all right. One thing we didn't get to mention there is because of Road, he got to lane so late that he actually had to take the long way through the jungle. So he actually
that's
missed out on some
particularly
experience. So that bot lane's just going to be at an inherent disadvantage until Crystal and Huddy maybe back once or get or misplay something or let a wave push into their tower to try and get Road some experience back.
So running this summon area on Gogo is just allowing him to pressure out so effectively in these early phases, and it will continue to allow that until we see Athena pick up some magic resistance for himself. We can imagine there's going to be the Abyssal Mask first, and after a bit of time he will be able to withstand this pressure from Gogo quite effectively. But for now, it just means that a small CS advantage is going to be eked out. We don't really see Oriana all that much anymore, and it's because picks like Malzahar, picks like Ryze are so effective into her, but with so many of them taken off the board, you can see why you'd fall back onto her.
Well, SFM gonna go ahead, take the scuttle for himself with some pings coming out. SKS is gonna see this and he says, all right, well, there was a Zac right next to us, guys, so do be careful. Instead, not a whole lot of deep vision coming out this time around in the early couple of minutes, so instead lane's going to be playing a little bit more safe. You actually see Athena already backing off to his tower, actually just going back for a Ruby Crystal, just trying to survive the lane as best as possible. Got to harass quite a bit there, even had to burn his teleport immediately there, and I'm interested to see. I want to make sure this is the correct rune for him. Athena's actually running the Electrocute here on the Galio.
Well, I believe the Electrocute thing says see 3 separate sources of damage, doesn't it?
Yeah, I thought it was 3 separate sources, so I didn't think the Q was a viable option for it.
So we'll have to check, but I do believe it was a mistake, and there are much better runes you can be running on Galio, especially since he is a tank, and he's not really this burst mage. I mean, he's not the way he was on that one patch where they accidentally made his AP ratio completely obscene.
Oh, come on.
It was just, yeah.
Don't you like one-shotting like people at about, what was it, 15 minutes with 1 Q? It was a little ridiculous.
Wait, it's one of those Google moments. Did you mean Zoe?
Did you mean Zoe? Did you mean one-shot Zoe? If you guys didn't see the clip in LCK, it's up on the Reddit already. A little disgusting. Let me just say it wasn't even
literally 100 to 0.
100 to 0 without a sleepy trouble bubble, I believe, if I recall.
The bubble went in one direction, the Q went in another, and it was just a complete one-shot of maximum range Q.
That is
absolutely obscene.
That just like that. Isn't that? I don't get the point of that. Isn't the bubble supposed to set up the one shot? Shouldn't you need the bubble for a one shot?
Yeah, that should be the case, but I mean,
it's not guaranteed.
It's Ender's balance. I mean, Riot's balancing team.
Oh, come on! Can't blame the poor guy that much. He doesn't have full control over what gets on through. Sure, he play tests it, and maybe he says, "Nah, that's totally legit. I'm trolling. That's horrible."
He was the first person to tell me no, Zoe shouldn't be nerfed because people aren't good enough at her yet.
Well, that was kind of true, and then people were like, "Oh wait, this champion's actually kind of easy to play." It's
Yeah, but the thing is, he was saying this a week ago.
Oh, okay, we'll get back to that. Athena gets shocked wave in the mid lane. You can see that harass coming out from the Oriana. That Ruby Crystal, though, is able to keep him pretty healthy with the extra health, so isn't looking to head back just yet. Kind of stuck underneath his tower, though, and SKS might be looking for a play here as SFM is going to be caught out by a ward. Going to place one across the wall himself and just back off there, and now he sees the Sejuani show herself and actually going to fight over that control ward. Meanwhile, it's a double TP, but Huddy goes...
It's the teleport bot lane.
It's the teleport bot lane. You gotta love it. On the Taric. You know, that's the LPL. You got Tarics taking cleanse in the late game. And actually, I could almost see that be a possibility for Huddy if that was the situation, because the real only form of hard CC, like good hard CC, is SKS. And speaking of SKS, he's looking on the hunt. He's gonna flash forward for SFM, but he's not gonna be able to get as much damage as maybe he was hoped, and that's gonna allow the Zac just to easily walk away.
And Zac didn't have to burn his flash there, crucially, so she ends up burning her flash for nothing, having pressured him out, knowing that he'd have to lose a lot of pressure and she could have taken over the river. Instead, ends up putting herself in a more disadvantageous situation. But Gogo here, low on mana.
Yeah, gotta be a little bit careful, but like we mentioned, still no level 6 for SKS, so he doesn't have that Glacial Prison to lock the Orianna down. Athena did have level 7, but wasn't really looking forward to SKS to dive underneath the tower just yet. Still, Billy could be doing that. We mentioned that dive potential from Snake, but they also have some tools for themselves. You know, you got a Gangplank ultimate, you got a Sejuani, and you also got that Galio that can look to try and dive on forward. So
they're just trying to get the maximum amount of disengage as possible here. So they've got the Galio ultimate onto like Jin Zhao to try and keep him safe. They've got Amazing Jay who's going to throw down that Gangplank ultimate to try and slow them down as well. And it's just so much used just to try and dissuade the enemy team from pulling off an engage. How much actually is there for them to turn it around the engage and put down the damage they need? And you got to think there isn't really that many tools other than those of disengage. Ooh.
Yeah,
Jin Zhao getting chunked very low.
Yeah, Crystal was able to find his target pretty nicely there with the True Shot Barrage and the Mystic Shot, and another one onto Road. He's got the Sheen available, and even then lands another one. Jin Zhao, he has to back off now. And he's going to be losing out some of these minions because he doesn't even have teleport to get back.
He doesn't have the teleport available. We did switch to it so you could use it to get back to lane, but has it on cooldown, and this is going to mean that there's a big amount of minions lost, a chunk of tower damage, and they get to move into the enemy jungle now to steal this blue buff away. Potentially give this to Crystal as well, so he can keep up the poke even more in the spot lane. This is devastating for the Caitlyn.
On top of that, you got a tier. You're just going to keep on stacking that faster and faster. Luckily for Jin Zhao, he was in line with CS and only now just starting to fall behind, so not a full disaster, but not an optimal scenario that they were looking for. And Snake, with only just, it looks like CS advantages, mainly up in that top lane, a little bit in the jungle, they've opened themselves up about a 1,500 gold lead before the 10-minute mark.
And very impressive how they managed to get this much for themselves, and you got to think it's a little bit of Flandre killing off those barrels that's extending that lead in the top lane as well. But now having the Frost Queen's claim, I believe, the full item completed, it's going to be very useful for him to be able to get loads of gold for himself and extend this gold lead further.
Looking to position themselves. Athena just looking to clear out these minions yet again with the Winds of War. Going to get that charge on down. Think about the Gallia. Once you got a couple points into that, it's pretty easy to just control the wave, and that's kind of his optimal scenario he's looking for. Just looking to clear those out and maybe look to answer some roams to the Orianna or answer some dives possibly in other lanes. You do see Road of them looking to play a bit forward, laying down the Caitlyn traps. SKS is making his way on over, has gotten himself some deep coverage. See if he gets spotted out by this ward. It doesn't look like he does. They might be going for it, but just a perfect timing on the blue Trink is able to spot him out.
They can tell by how the enemy was posturing that one was coming, and they don't get punished this time around, and instead it ends up being Sejuani who wasted her time with nothing in this bot side jungle to take, so she has to look towards mid lane and Gogo. He has to see this coming.
Well, Gao just looking to. Meanwhile, up in top lane, Amazing J was being aggressed upon by SOVM and Flandre, and in mid lane, looks like Billy, they want to try and make a play of their own. That's going to be another stopwatch. Still, no shockwave until the last second, and here comes the surprise! Vladimir to intercept the ultimate from Sejuani. SOVM, he's able to connect onto the stretching strike. Gonna get the let's bounce. That's first blood going on over to Flandre.
You thought it was just Vladimir, but it was me, Tarek. I'm here to arrive and help pick up the first blood of the game. The sneaky double TP. That's gonna pull them. That's gonna pull them out here. Another bit of a gold lead to put them at 2,000. And the fact that the bot lane rotated up means they're losing even more again.
Oh, let's see this.
Billy constantly falling down.
This is a feel bad moment here. SKS, this is okay. You did see it very briefly, but the Glacial Prison, like on the frame.
The Secret Service.
Surprise!
The full Secret Service.
Surprise! Vladimir coming on in, and SOVM is going to help clean them up.
You gotta love that body blocking for his team, protect the president's playstyle.
I'm shocked SKS didn't try and just walk a little to the side and not risk that. I feel like that was just kind of an oversight by SKS. Nonetheless, Snake, they're able to abuse the mistake, it could seem, and with that, pick themselves up still a 1,500 gold lead and the single kill onto Flandre on the Vladimir. We mentioned this guy can be disgusting. We saw it last game. He's already on a roll, got himself almost close to a 25 CS advantage, so you're looking at about 4 waves there worth of gold on top of the 1 kill in his pocket. And I think Amazing Jay's had some trouble actually harassing him in the lane, because I'm honestly looking at his inventory. He hasn't been able to really use that Klepto too much, it seems.
Yeah, I mean, who would win? The angry pirate with the power of every bank in the world, or 2 spooky boys?
2 spooky boys.
And right now, it's the 2 spooky boys, the Frost Queen's claim, that's winning out. And,
Oh wait, that's disgusting.
Flandre.
That's actually disgusting. You get the Frost Queen's claim passive when you get rid of the Gangplank barrels?
You get 10 gold. Did he get the additional 15?
Yes, I saw a 15 pop up on his head. That's actually
Ooh,
disgusting.
that's interesting.
That's worth pretty much a minion at that point.
That's pretty disgusting. So that will be a lot of why he's getting a gold lead here.
I didn't even think about that. I've never seen that. Okay, cool. That's a good thing.
I will have to check up on this. This is really interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, Jin Jiao, though.
Yeah, as Jin Jiao, still safe it seems. SFM, he is positioning himself though. He's looking for that dive. One of the unique gank paths that Zach
There we
can
go.
go.
That's what we were talking about.
But Road denies him. Even going that
That's exactly what we were talking about in the pregame.
Mid lane,
Road being able to
SK,
deny
yes.
it instantly.
A little bit off with the Glacial Prison, but back to your point, Road. Yeah, he has that beautiful disengage for that Zac dive, so gives a lot of safety to Jin Jiao.
But the thing is, it's trading an E for an ultimate. So in the late game, you're able to consistently set these up as Zac. Then you won't be punished for it. You can get Warmogs, and then you can just walk back and forth and set up these over and over again. And she'll need to have the Qs prepped to be able to knock you up when you get anywhere near her. And that's an unfortunate issue, but right now they're looking to siege up this bot lane tower. See if they can get the first turret of the game here. The tower's already quite low, but they're racing up against the Vladimir on top.
It looks like they secure it, so Billy, with that, are actually able to sneak themselves a little bit of gold back into their advantage. Still gonna be a little bit behind mid lane though. Athena wants to go aggressive, but here comes that Zac. Bounces on in, he's gonna pop the Let's Bounce all the way back into the shockwave of Gao Gao. And he's even going to use the heroic escape. Here comes the dragon though! And it denies him his salvation out of the mid lane. Water Dragon OP, it's on Snake's team.
He ults, but just the AoE of it clips the dragon, and that's gonna cost him his life.
Oh, it feels bad. That's
executed by the dragon. That's definitely a feels bad man moment. It looked so good as well. It was so close to escaping. And then he gets shut down at the very last moment.
It wouldn't be the LPL with some wacky stuff happening, you know? Stuff going haywire, Dragon becoming the 6th member of Snake Esports, it seems. Oh, that was perfect. I love that. True shot barrage by Crystal is just going to go ahead and clear back that wave, looking to apply as much pressure as possible onto this bot lane tower. It's been a long night, folks. Let's just say that, but we still got plenty of action to go. 2-0 your kill total, a 2,000 gold lead for Snake at 15 minutes in. They're now looking to knock onto the second tower of the game. If Crystal can keep applying that pressure, do you have SKS waiting on the wings? So instead, it looks like Billy, they might concede this. Athena's actually roamed down to the bot lane to just clear out the waves, and looks like they're positioning their duo into the mid.
And this is an interesting setup here, but Road gets chunked very low.
Yeah, Road's got to be a little bit careful. Is able to escape. Didn't have to burn his ultimate, nor did he have to burn the flash. So he's still got his summoners available. With that, though, Snake are going to make the call and go ahead and start up that Ocean Drake. They said, hey, you're our buddy now. We got to kill you, sadly. But, like, yeah, thank you for your service.
Yeah, it's not going to go down without a fight. It's an old yellow situation. Put down the dragon with rabies.
Oh man, that feels bad, man. That poor dragon. He was just trying to help them. He was trying to just slay the poor Galio that was trying to escape with his life. And Snake comes over there and just brutally
It's a
murders
vicious
him.
dragon. It's a vicious dragon. He attacked somebody. He's got to be put down.
Oh man, you hate to hear it. Either way.
You hate to see it, but luckily it was off screen when it died.
Oh,
so.
Okay. We were spared the brutality of the poor dragon just getting destroyed. Either way.
You hear the gunshot in the distance.
Oh man, dude. This stream's getting dark at this point. Either way, Ocean Drake secured by Snake. Still about a 2,500 gold lead for Snake Esports, 17 minutes. They do have SKS waiting in the wings, but he is continually been spot out by control wards laid down by Snake, and it's been really hard for him to really find the ganks, and the ultimates too haven't been finding their marks.
Yeah, it's definitely been fine for SFM because he's just had free reign to be able to farm up and get to the late game point where we know they have this big AoE teamfight composition. And it's just going to be how well they can shut down this, how well they can shut down Jin Zhao. And if they can remove him right at the start of the fight, then it's going to be a very easy day for the side of Snake. And it's very much the same as last game where they had to remove Athena. This time it's just Jin Zhao instead.
SFM positioning himself, going to go ahead and clear out the wards. You see the rest of Snake looking to surround that Baron pit. The Rift Herald still available for them. Looks like they want to try and siege on into this mid lane tower and then maybe rotate up to try and take down that objective. You also have Crystal up in the top lane looking to just shred away at the tower. So, and even Flandre applying pressure down in that bot lane. And that tower is only on the last bit of life support, it seems. Only a couple more auto attacks will take it away, and Amazing Jay's just going to be stuck down here trying to clear that out. Has the cannon barrage, does have the teleport available though if a fight breaks out.
It's really hard for him to hold against Vladimir at this point though, because Vladimir can sustain so effectively through all the damage that Amazing Jay wants to put out. And he just runs out of barrels to the point where he can't deny the AoE anymore. And then starts to get chunked down bit by bit with these Qs, and he can't really use his W to heal back up because then he's opening himself up to a gank from S of M, and you can see that here. S of M sneaks around the corner just to make him zone away, and that's going to give them their second tower of the game, as Ezreal's available to hold up in this top side to stop Caitlyn finding that 1-for-1 trade.
It's a nice bit of rotation there, and some pressure from SFM is going to give Snake a little bit more in their pocket as they take their second tower of the game. 50 seconds on the Baron until it joins us onto Summoner's Rift. The Rift Herald still an option, but it's starting to tick away. Looks like Snake instead prioritizing. Actually, just as I say that, they ping it out. They say, hey, we're going to take this at the last minute and maybe try and take some more towers, or even maybe go for the Baron immediately after. So a quick play here from Snake should be able to take it down. SFM, he's got to start whacking that. It looks like Billy, they might try and slow this down potentially so it hard despawns. Have the teleport coming through from Amazing Jay. He wants to be able to answer this. SFM has decided, though, he wants to go aggressive onto SKS. Gets caught out by the Glacial Prison. That's also going to be the Cannon Barrage coming on down. Rift Herald is going to reset, and I think Billy have achieved their goal of just trying to stop this Rift Herald, but guess what? They open up their mid lane to a push here. It's only Athena trying to clear this out.
And it was a really nice play there, but they did use quite a lot to deny that Rift Herald away from Snake, and as you said, they're going to lose the mid lane tower off the back of this now, with SFM going on an Amazing Jay.
Amazing Jay, the Hemo Plague is popped, and he's going to be ticking on down the final auto attack coming on through from Flandre. The Shockwave finds its target onto Road. Members of Snake taking a lot of damage from the tower, but it's finally taken down by Crystal. Meanwhile, in top lane, Jin Zhao is actually going to trade 1-for-1. Will Snake decide to go any further? Looks like not. Instead, going to go ahead, invade into Billy's jungle, try and take as much as they can from SKS and Athena. Still sitting at about a 4,000 gold advantage. Going to be an Ocean Drake popping up here in just over a minute. Baron now active on the Rift.
And now is when Snake needs to be able to force that 5v5 teamfight, but we saw how effective the disengage was there from the side of Billy, how well they were able to just skirt away on the edge of a fight, but it wasn't enough as Amazing Jay had been pressured out. And it was by forcing the fight, you see, by getting them to have to react to the play, they put themselves in that negative situation where they just tried to plug all the holes at once, and they realized there was a gaping hole in the mid lane, and as they tried to plug it desperately, that's where Amazing Jay ended up getting picked off.
So Snake. Plugging holes. Funny. Either way, SFM gonna go into the
Come
lane.
on, Opal.
I'm sorry, you just kept going with it. I was like, man, dude, you gotta stop talking.
Come on, Opal. Come on, Opal. That isn't what I was talking about.
I don't know, man.
I'm saying they're on a sinking ship, and they're trying to plug the holes.
Okay. With corks. Corks or duct tape. Duct tape. One of the two.
Yeah.
But you know, unfortunately, the galley was pretty heavy, so I think that ship is going to be sinking no matter what here. Not saying Athena is doing too bad here, but the rest of the team, they seem a little bit disorganized, and their goals of their fight have seemed to just not pan out in their favor, because Snake, they haven't really been going for dives. They've been just really turning around the aggression that we saw from Billy early on in the game. That's kind of what's net them these 3 kills, and honestly, it's just been some cleaner map rotations and just some better lane, especially toward that top side, that's just kind of carrying the gold lead, it seems, so far.
Yeah, it's definitely been a lot of the gold lead coming from that, but right now is where Snake need to try and find these advantageous picks. They need to catch out members, and with the way that Road's been playing to effectively deny the Zac, he needs to try and find someone else to pick off, because he can't really get on top of Jin Zhao easily. It has to be like a Vladimir sped up onto the backline with a Ghost going underneath anything that Road can put out to really get on top of Jin Zhao easily.
Well, Crystal, he's starting to find his targets here with the Mystic Shot. Do have Road's shield coming on through. That's also going to be a teleport coming in from Flandre to hold this lane. That's actually, Huddy, my pardon. Keep forgetting that the Tara can have teleport.
Supports for teleport event 2018.
It's surprise. You never know who's going to be coming out of that ward or that minion they're teleporting onto. We saw it early on.
One thing I've learned in all my years: you never know who's going to come through that ward.
Never come through that ward. You know, I know Team Liquid. They also are ones that had issue.
No,
the double
Liquid,
teleport. That tilted everyone off the face of the earth. All the Team Liquid fans. Maybe that was the coming. Maybe Riot's like, you know what? We need more plays like that. We need 3 people with teleport to be meta, so they can come out and surprise members of the enemy team. But look at this, Snake making a surprising call. It seems here as they've actually cleared out all this vision, and Billy, they don't have full.
Stable, yeah.
They don't really have full vision that this is going on. Road finally checks it out. Only has the tornado. It's actually going to be secured by the Orianna.
HP.
That was close. The cannon barrage was almost able to find it. Road takes down Huddy. Athena tries to use a heroic entrance. Shockwave finds a target and brings Road all the way down. And let that Hemoplague gonna be popping over. Jin Zhao, though, still alive on the side. He's trying to carry the team, but it won't be enough. It's a full ace coming on through by Snake as they only lose their support in mid laner.
And that's the Flandre team fight we were looking for. Again, him on this Vladimir pick. People doubted us. We knew the truth. His Vladimir is absolutely monstrous. And he gets on top of the backline yet again here.
Oh, this is close. This is you're clenching if you're SOVAN right now. You're praising that your mid laner somehow got that.
Yeah, it's almost that 2 HP Baron. Remember the days, but Hootie goes down, but crucially, just as he goes down, SFM becomes invulnerable. So he walks in, and the Shockwave pulls Road back onto the body of SFM to pull him into the team, remove the Janna instantly, then all the disengage is gone. Flandre can just walk on top of whatever carry he wants and burst them down.
And just like that, it's going to be a 7,500 gold lead for Snake Esports at 25 minutes. They got a Baron buff at their disposal, only losing 2 members. So Crystal can look to split push, SFM can look to push out a lane, and Flandre on top of that. Feels like Snake are now in control. The question now, we always ask, how do they try and break open the base? I said that, and they immediately just took the game over Billy. And this is looking pretty much similar, and this is what Snake have been, aiming for. This is their opportunity to cement themselves at the top of the conference in the West. They took down EDG, got revenge for their Demacia Championship loss, and taking down BLG.
And also lost to Fun Plus, so I don't think we can...
They did. Yeah. And that might be a series that comes back and haunts them. So they always have to have that in the back of their mind, because you know what? It could come to that scenario where the playoff seeds get really close. Every game matters in this scenario because tiebreaker rules. You also look at win to loss in individual games rather than the series if you're tied at that point. So it's important to try and close out series in 2-0s, and if you do lose, you don't want to be giving up games to someone along the lines of FPX, because that's been the lone series win for FPX, was that upset. You have the Glacial Prison, but here comes the team bite from Snake. They are looking to just finish off this game. Athena gets taken on down. Shockwave doesn't find his target, only onto Amazing J. Flandre recovers back all his health on the edge of death, but Snake now break open both inhibitors in the mid and bot lane. With that, can Billy look to defend this? You still have minions starting to pour on in. It's a 4v5. Do Snake look for the play, or can Billy defend the base? 9-2 your kills, a 10,000, make that 12,000 goal lead for Snake. They're instead gonna back off, finish off their items, and just look to continue on sieging through. As always, get a look at exactly what happened here in the bot lane. SFM just catches out Athena, and he's got nowhere to go. And with that, the Shockwave on top of Amazing J's catches him out. Look at Flandre with just a sliver of health. Gets that stopwatch off, recovers all of it. Recovers around, what, 1,200 health with that ultimate? A bit ridiculous, and just like that, Snake are able to open up the base after a, well, aggressive early game and getting some luck with the dragon, it seems. They were helping it out. Looks like the game is going in Snake's favor. Can Billy really find an opportunity to turn this one around? We haven't seen a really great team fight in their favor. Just the dive that comes out from Snake is just a little too much. And it seems Sin will have to, if you know Sin, you guys understand his house actually has a fire alarm that goes off often, because apparently there are fires in his building often. So he will be back hopefully soon. As you can see, Crystal just shredding away SKS as he even challenges for the Wolves. And this is going to be the third dragon of the game. Going over to Snake. That's going to be an Infernal only to aid in their gold lead. Adding that bonus damage on top of the item advantages that they have. It's going to be pretty hard for Billy to make their way back into this one. You can already see the rest of the team positioning themselves toward this Baron pit, just looking for to get vision again and deny it, because Billy, honestly, they let go of another Baron. It's going to be very hard for them to get back in this one. They really only have the wave clear of that Gangplank and the Caitlyn. The Galio does some, but when they're Baron buffed up, it's pretty hard for them to clear. You can see Snake now rotating up to the top lane, looking to take this second tier tower. Even going to clear out that barrel for good measure, and Crystal is just able to go ahead and shred that one down. I think we have Sin returning with us.
Hey, it's me. The cost was too lit. My house went down.
Oh boy, no, of course.
No, it's yeah. As I live in apartment buildings, so fire alarm goes off sometimes. Unfortunately, nothing I can do about it.
It happens.
Yeah.
Talking about things that are happening.
Going back into the game, yeah, it's just I love watching Flandre's team fights on Vladimir. He knows exactly where he needs to be. He just runs in going, "It's me, your boy."
Well, look, he's running straight forward into 4 members. He's got no fear at the moment. Still has his ultimate available if he wants to pop it. Looks like Snake, they're just looking for a fight up here in top lane. They don't even care likely about this inhibitor. They're using it as bait. And SFM, he has that elastic slingshot. He's going to jump right on over, but Road gets just destroyed by the combo. You got Athena on the Galio, but it's a little too late as the fight has already swung in Snake's favor. The Shockwave lands onto the Galio. That's going to be a kill going on over to Gao. Crystal will clean it up, and that is 3 members taken on down on Billy. Crystal, Arcane shifts on in. Amazing J doesn't get taken down, but it looks like Snake, they are going to claim the top spot in the West Conference of the LPL after taking down their opponents, Billy, in Game 2.
Is that him? And I have to give my MVP to Flandre's Vladimir. This is the boy in this game. He showed up big in every single team fight, was constantly pressuring out, and even though SFM wasn't always able to get on top of the backline, it was the Vladimir able to follow up effectively, jump right in, and get on top of Road, because it wasn't really getting rid of Jin Zhao that was the problem. It was getting rid of Road so the rest of the team could then follow up with the engage, because he is the only member that could avoid the monsoon, could avoid the tornado by pooling underneath it.
You can see Snake, they're pretty happy. Unfortunately for Billy, they weren't even able to take one game, and this was the battle for first place here in the West Conference, and Billy now, their strength and schedule not favoring them, it seems. After having what a lot of people will consider the more easier roster of opponents to go through in the first 3 weeks, now we're starting to face some of these bigger teams, and Snake, in relatively simple fashion, both games, I believe, close to that 30-minute mark, were able just to clean a house and play aggressive, and that's kind of what we figured Snake would be able to do. They were able to just play aggressive and not allow BLG and Athena to make it to that late game where he could try and carry those fights.
I really want to see now Snake versus IG. Both of the teams are looking so strong right now, putting them up against each other, and seeing these two giant forces collide. I'm wondering how that would look. But right now we're going to see this, and yeah, it's Crystal and Flandre. Once again, it's Gao Gao not really being this big carry threat, but being enough of a utility for his team, just to supplement the two big carries.
And you guys, some of you doubted us, but we did mention that Vladimir is a bit disgusting once it gets rolling, and you gotta give it to them. So the question now becomes, you know, we look forward, and we kind of look forward to tomorrow's matches here. As you mentioned, Invictus, you kind of want to see that team play against Snake. Well, they're going to be going against Suning Gaming in our first match, starting at 2 a.m. Mountain Time. That's about 1 a.m. on the West Coast, and about 4
9 a.m. for me.
9 a.m. over in England and over in Europe. Some of you guys also over there, so make sure to tune in on that. If you guys enjoyed the cast, make sure, as always, to subscribe. Not even subscribe. I'm used to YouTube. We have a bunch of
comment, and subscribe.
Comment, subscribe, hit that like button.
Smash that like button.
Oh boy, Sin's getting too excited. No. If you guys enjoy, make sure to follow the channel. We go live every Tuesday and Wednesday and the odd Saturday to cover all the matches that the official team is not able to cover, unless we have a scenario like this one. This is very rare. Usually LGD and Snake don't play on the same day, or they play in much different blocks. It's very rare.
Because they're both in different stadiums, yeah. When they play, they have set time slots rather than going one after the other. They will start at a specific time. So unfortunately, when they're in different stadiums, we can't necessarily go, okay, we're gonna cast this series, then this series, and have them do both in their entirety.
We could along those lines, but we wouldn't have access to the VODs. That's the only issue.
Yeah.
The VODs come out a little bit delayed. We could rewind a YouTube stream, but trust me, it's actually very hard to coordinate that when someone's on the other side of the world. So,
yeah.
Like I mentioned. As anyway,
and
guys.
Here's the Flandre man of the match.
There you go.
92% kill participation. 39% of the damage. Yeah, that's great. And he got 2 MVPs in the series as well. He definitely earned it, and there's a reason I've been quoting this for a while now. He's so good at this champion.
Well, guys, we thank you for watching, and as always, if you enjoy our cast and want to see us elsewhere, make sure to follow us on Twitter. We usually tweet when we're going out live. Sin is a pretty funny guy. I'm a pretty stale guy, so don't worry, you won't be getting too many great memes out of me. And we gotta say thank you to guys over on YouTube. I saw that those streams combined, we're sitting at 1,000 viewers. That's insane, to say the very least. Thank you very much. I'm glad there's a demand for this stream. And like always, guys, we'll see you tomorrow for our next 2 series, and of course, on Saturday. So have a great day or night or evening or wherever you are in the world. We'll see you next time.